What time is it?
Tonight, the revolution begins.
I'm expecting a fight, hoping for a war.
We are the Bullet Club.
I am the greatest living professional wrestler alive. One by one, they will all follow me.
Bada boom, realest guys in the room.
How you know?
Feed me more.
Breaks the hold, but how much damage has been done? Kurt Angle smells blood in the water. I don't know if EC3 is going to be able to stand one a match. EC3 knows what's coming and he can't stop it. EC3 slips out the back. Kurt Angle stacked up on his shoulders, and EC3 is world champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Deezer.
Oh, can't go wrong with Bruce when you're talking about America and 4th of July and Wrestling to the Max episode 150.
Whoa!
We've done more than 150 episodes if you want to be frank about it. But we number them for a reason. So.
Oh yeah, we do. It's crazy because once again, me and Sean did a ton of shows before we actually started the podcast. They're taped. They may be somewhere on his computer. We will never divulge them, but they were just getting us ready to start doing this.
Terrible.
Yeah, they're awful. You never want to hear them. Trust me, you don't want to be bored out of your mind. But needless to say, we've done 150 of these officially, and we are so happy that we are here with you today. And it is going to be the 4th of July weekend. So not only do we get to enjoy, 150 episodes and celebrate that, but we're also celebrating the Independence Day. So we're excited about that. We hope everybody out there is going to have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy it, relax, and man, maybe you're sitting in the pool right now listening to us, and we hope you are. Maybe you're barbecuing and just chilling out. Enjoy yourselves, guys. I know we are. I'm looking forward to seeing some fireworks coming up this weekend. But are you guys going to do anything special? Go see any fireworks or anything fun?
I work till 8, so no.
Come on. I think they started in Saxe at 9. You may be able to get home just in enough time. But anyway.
Maybe.
You may be driving like us last year. Me and my wife were driving on the 4th of July. Driving past what we have is a big shopping center here in Dallas County. Me and Paul live in North Dallas County, and they had a firework display as I was driving over the bridge at Firewheel. It was beautiful. So, anyway, so Sean, how about yourself? You going to do anything fun with family? Anything special?
I'm actually, as long as my job didn't decide to change my schedule last minute, which they have not been doing this week, I'm actually off on a Saturday for once in a freaking lifetime.
Me too. Oh, I'm so happy.
Yeah, but your job.
Rub it in, guys. Jesus.
Your
Sorry.
But your job is like
daytime.
On. You guys usually get off for holidays, right?
Well, Paul may not. I get off for Christmas Day, maybe Christmas Eve. Thanksgiving, I get one day, Thanksgiving Day. And that's about it. I don't get off anything else. So.
That's what
I'll. I just didn't know if that kind of place lets you was really open during 4th of July. I didn't think it was something that was necessary for it to be open during.
Yeah, it just the way it works depends on the boss you got, the company you work for. So. Yep. I hope you get to enjoy it, Sean. I would, I know Anaya would love to go see fireworks. So hopefully she gets to see some.
Yeah, I got to talk to my mom and the wife and see what they want to do. I'm gonna try to be up and watching the Beast in the East live, then sleep a little bit, and then see what happens on the day. But we got Mr. Christopher Hale on right now. You gonna do something for 4th of July, or you got to work?
I actually start my week vacation that day, so I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
well, we're happy for you. We're definitely happy, and we're glad that you're here tonight, man. We're excited about having you on, and excited about talking about a lot of these shows that we want to talk about, and some big news topics this week. And guys, before we jump into quick hits and we get some of this other stuff going, we want to kind of stop for a second and kind of give everybody a heads up on some things that we are going to be implementing in the show. When we do these anniversary shows, this is not really an anniversary show, but this is a big landmark, 150 episodes. We like to kind of take into consideration what the fans have said, with different people that love wrestling, that come and listen to this show, the people that are just, fans like us, what they like to hear, what they like to listen to. And we've got some feedback, and we're going to implement that in this show. One thing that they have implemented and kind of let us know is that when we have a show, sometimes, we've had 4, 5 guests on at a time, including us 3. I think we've done a show with 8 people on a show. Very hard to do, becomes very robotic because we switch between each other. That kind of stuff will be very limited, if at all. We may have a few things here and there where we kind of have to do that. WrestleMania is big. So we're going to figure that out when it comes to that. But besides that, on our shows coming up, we are going to allow the first caller an opportunity to be in the show, maybe do a segment with us. That is just going to be a new rule here. Just because of the fact that, once again,
if you're the same person or same few people that call, now that we're starting earlier, and if Harry's not busy, sometimes he'll call, or Brandon or whoever, we also have to be fair to other people. We can't have, just because you're the first person that's always knows when we come on and pays attention and calls, if we don't get anyone or something, we'll let you come on towards the middle of the segment or something, but it's kind of hard, because other than Chris Lemche, who gets kind of free reign because he's been here since day one, it's hard to be able to do something, especially one of the show reviews, when you've got us 3 needing to give our piece because it's our show, and then everybody else has to give their piece because they're on there, and then it's just kind of we weren't supposed to spend 2 hours on Raw. And then we have to be here for 4 hours, and the people listening have to listen, or they have to fast forward, or whatever. And I can understand the people that have tweeted at me and Facebooked me and said things in the group that it makes it a crawl to listen to. Mm-hmm. This is about you guys as much as it is about us. We also have lives, and we don't want to be here we love wrestling, but we don't want to be on till 5 a.m. recording the show.
Exactly. And we're one of the few podcasts out there that give 3 hours of wrestling complete. And it's not to say that we're doing anything special. It's just the fact that we cover everything for you guys. We kind of talk about various things. Let's be honest.
We also don't. The thing is, too, we don't have the ability to be on after every single show like a lot of these networks do. Mm-hmm. And go, okay, let's do TNA on the night that TNA is on. We all have lives. We're just 3 people, and those people have 10 people that are all part of their network, and they're all there to do one show. And we try to give you all those things that everybody else does in one show. And I know sometimes 3 or 4 hours is a lot, but that's why I'm going to start doing timestamps. It's a lot of work for me, but I think it helps you guys a lot because we know not everybody listens to everything. There are people that cannot stand TNA. There's people that don't care at all about Lucha Underground. And so you know exactly when this segment starts, so that if you want to listen to it, you can fast forward or rewind or whatever you want to do to that spot. You listen to it and you go about your day or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so that's why we're implementing these things. It's really for everybody listening. It's not for us, because trust me, we love having everybody call in, and we're not trying to deter you. We want you to call. That's the reason we tell you the number and all that. We just want to make it where you guys can come on, share your opinions, and maybe come on. Hey, you can call on, give your piece about something, about Raw or whatever, and then, hey, move on, and then we will continue with the show. We're just implementing a few things here and there, and we'll keep you guys updated. We're not going to stick around on this topic very long. I just want you guys to know we are changing things. Sean's already posted a description in our Facebook group. Go read that. It kind of explains it. We don't need to do a lot more talking about this right now. But yes, the timestamps are going to be amazing. That gives you guys an opportunity. Hey, maybe you're at work and you want to go skip on over to what we talked about, Lucha Underground. That gives you that opportunity. Go check it out, and make sure you always look at the description when you listen to the podcast. So, all right, guys. Well, we've done enough chit-chat about this blah, blah, blah. I want to move on and talk some wrestling. I don't know about you guys. So, since we got Mr. Christopher Hale with us, I can't wait to get into these quick hits. So, Sean, let's move on and talk some wrestling news in quick hits.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
And, of course, if you guys want to call in, Sean, what's that number?
972-591-8620.
There you go.
And for you people that don't like to have your voice heard, there are people that are like that. I've had a few in the group ourselves that don't. They tell me, well, I want to call in, but I'm scared my voice is going to sound terrible. We do have a little chat. You can click the link. It's a lot easier if you take that link that's there, put it into your browser. It'll take you directly to the show, and then there's a little chat thing, and you can just chat through there. Or you can download the Spreaker app to your phone, find the show, just search Wrestling to the Max. It should tell you that the show is live right then. You can actually also, if you follow the show on Spreaker, which anybody can do, you can actually comment on the show after it's over too, and it will alert me, and I can tell one of the guys or whatever, and we can comment back and forth on there too. So it doesn't have to be while it's live. It can always be while it's already aired too. Just so you know.
Great information for everybody listening. So there you go, guys. Well, let's jump into this. This is TNA news once again, everybody. I know last week we had a lot of TNA news, but man, TNA is the biggest thing right now when it comes to talking about the world of wrestling, just because of the situation that they're in. It's been a decline for a while now, and now they're trying to get above their heads with, GFW coming and being involved in the promotion, and maybe this merger invasion and all the things they're talking about right now. It is kind of interesting because of the fact that we've also got a situation where a wrestling magazine has also seen this decline, and that wrestling magazine I'm talking about is Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and they have decided that they do no longer consider the TNA title as a major title at all. They're not considering it anywhere close to what the WWE title is. I just want to know what you guys think about this, because it's interesting. For all these years, they've considered the TNA title, just as much as anything else, when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championships. Now they don't even consider it. So what is your thoughts, Christopher? Do you feel like this is the right thing for Pro Wrestling Illustrated, or is this silly?
I think it's really silly. I don't know where they, are they the end-all, be-all of all wrestling magazines, that they decide what title we all need to follow and which one's legit, which one's not legit, which one's, which one we need to worry about the most? As far as I'm concerned, TNA is still around for now anyway. They still have a world title. They should still be, EC3 just won the championship last night. Let's celebrate that fact, I think they should be, they should definitely still be considered a champion, to have a championship. I don't think it's fair to not consider them have a championship. If they consider Ring of Honor and New Japan, why not consider TNA?
Mm-hmm. That's what hurts for me right now, is EC3 just won the title, and now all of a sudden he doesn't matter. And that hurts, because this guy's worked so hard. And I don't know, that just kind of irks me. I don't know about you, Paul, but that just kind of makes me sad.
I guess it depends on how much you really want to take PWI for whatever they are. They certainly used to be the be-all, end-all as far as wrestling dirt sheets go. Now with magazines and all that stuff in decline, how much does this really matter? Not really a lot. The championship has been defended outside of the U.S. It's been defended in England. It's been defended in other parts of the world. It's a world championship, whether PWI admits it or not. It's no big deal. And really, I see what PWI is trying to do. It just doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. I understand that for sure.
It's one of those things that I don't think PWI doesn't recognize the IWGP. They don't recognize ROH. They don't recognize anything but WWE pretty much right now. They're pretty much trying to say that in reality there is nothing that compares to WWE right now. So they are the world title, and it is what it is. It's all, honestly, we're talking about a fake sport. So I mean, whatever you consider a world title is what you're going to consider a world title. Who cares what a magazine that probably has a small number of subscribers at this point, considering the death of magazines that we're going through and the death of printed media period that we're going through. Yeah, I mean, how relevant is what they have to say at this point?
Mm-hmm.
If they consider WWE to be like the absolute top of the rung as far as wrestling wise, then that just shows your problem right there.
Yeah, but they've always been like that, though.
I understand they're like the top of the ladder. That's where everyone wants to go. But as far as wrestling, wise, I mean, I saw matches the last 2 weeks on Ring of Honor television that were head and shoulders above what I've seen in the last month of WWE. All their shows.
Yeah, you just can't question where WWE is at as far as size and brand and all this other stuff that they are. They are unquestionably the number one wrestling promotion in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just because their show sucks, doesn't mean anything when you're looking at size.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going to a restaurant and it's a major chain, and you can complain and tell everybody how terrible the food is, but guess what? They'll be in business. But you do that to a small chain, and there's a chance you could hurt them, and they could be out of business. So that's what works. It's interesting to me too. Talking about this is the fact that Jonathan Coachman works for ESPN, former employee of WWE, and he's trying to integrate Sports Center and the ESPN family with WWE, and that just goes to show you that brand is so big that even ESPN would be put in the same, breath, and, that's connected to Disney, for God's sake. So it's an interesting thought, at the fact that no matter what kind of product they put out there, WB still put up there in the mainstream no matter what. So. And, of course, if you want to sponsor that, go find Coachman. He wants help on Twitter, so. We're talking about TNA.
To bring up that point, I think if Coach gets that to work, like them basically follow SummerSlam the way they do WrestleMania every year, how much is that going to piss off those legit sports fans? They already get upset anytime anything wrestling-wise is mentioned. I just want to see how upset they get. The fact that to me, like, UFC is becoming such a show now that, like, and they cover that, so who cares? Like, they do entertainment stuff all the time on ESPN now. Like, the E in ESPN is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Did people forget that? I mean, so, like, the ESPYs is entertainment. I mean, it's not really that much of a legit... I mean, yeah, the fans vote for it and whatever, but it's just like... I think people get all up in arms about that. It's just... They're not covering Raw on SportsCenter. Just... Come on, guys. Just... It's whatever.
I think people get caught on the word, like, professional wrestling. And that's, obviously, yeah, it is fake. It is, predetermined, but... all the athletes, male or female, in the ring, they can compete with any basketball player, football player, any player from any sport that's on ESPN any day. So, I mean, it's just as much of a sport as it is anything, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I totally agree. I mean, these guys are athletes that are former football players, basketball players. These guys are athletes, pure and pure. They just don't, look at them that way when it comes to, I'm a baseball fan, but these guys are just in the ring doing this and it's fake. No, these guys are actually working really hard, and if you were to get in there and do it, you probably wouldn't have the endurance. So these guys work really, really hard. Well, we're talking about TNA here, and there's a few other things, that have come out about TNA besides the, Pro Wrestling Illustrated stuff. They actually have decided that, they needed to, fix some things in the front office, but they're also losing a vice president, guys. I think I'm trying to think of the position. They added another position just recently, but they just lost their vice president. That's one of the bigger issues here. They've also lost talent. Taryn Terrell, we have Awesome Kong, Austin Aries. These names are all leaving their show. I don't know about you guys, but this is a concern. I mean, they've already lost Magnus. They've lost, one of Paul's favorites,
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode. This is just, it seems like they're cleaning house, but they're not trying to. At least I don't think so, right? Christopher, come on, explain this to me. What is going on here? Are we seeing it melt before our eyes?
If this sets up to the highly rumored invasion angle between GFW and TNA, then it's all going to make sense in about 2 or 3 months. But if it's where I personally think it's going, I think I think the talent is I think they're finally getting to the point where, okay, I think the ship is just about underwater at this point. I'm just going to go see where I can get contracts elsewhere and probably actually get paid at an indie show somewhere instead of working TNA and not getting paid. I don't know. If it leads to an invasion angle, great. I don't know how much, honestly, it would help TNA. Even if it did an invasion angle, I could see maybe if the invasion angle does happen, it would maybe lead to Jeff Jarrett taking over everything. I really don't know. It would have to be, that'd be purely business on that end, which I have no idea about.
But you make a lot of sense. But my thing about this is, if you're going to have an invasion, you have to have a roster you invade. This roster, what are we going to have left? EC3, Tyrus, and Mr. Anderson?
And the thing is, I felt like even with the WWF and WCW invasions, when it was just those two, and before ECW got involved, I felt like WWF had all the stars, and WCW, all the big stars of WCW didn't come over. Sting and, at first the Nash and Hall, and they didn't come over, and Hogan especially, they didn't come over. And I felt like that really hurt. I feel like if all the stars from both companies worked for their respective companies during an invasion angle, I feel like that could have been probably the greatest storyline ever in professional wrestling. It would have been dream match after dream match after dream match every month at every pay-per-view for like 2 years. But it unfortunately didn't turn out that way. And if this GFW invasion angle, if that's how they're going to go, like you guys said, it's who are they going to invade? Mike Tenay and Rockstar Spud.
Oh, and Kurt Angle has a tumor, so it's not like he's going to be around to wrestle. Well,
exactly.
Is he still going to wrestle with a tumor?
Yes, it's a benign tumor that apparently he's had for a while, and it's really minor, and he's going to be able to be back for the tapings. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy. I that a little bit. It wasn't cancerous. I heard that. I'm very, very happy about that. I just wasn't sure how fast he'd be back. So that's good news for TNA, I guess.
Well, if you wrestle with a broken freaking neck, then what's the tumor?
That's true.
Kurt Angle's the type that he probably would have tried to. He did wrestle with that torn ACL or whatever for a little while. So, that dude is crazy when it comes to wrestling with injuries.
Yeah, he's probably as tough as Paul, because trust me, Paul is a tough guy. I was with him when he got hurt, and man, he toughed it out. You're like, whatever, it's okay. Big deal. I broke my face. That's okay.
Big deal, right?
Yep. Paul's the trooper.
Yep. So, what do you think about this, Paul? Though, this is all this, this invasion and all that, and of course the roster just falling down.
I'll be surprised if we ever get an invasion angle, but I do think it lends more credence to the fact that the whole reason GFW is doing business with TNA is to coach roster. And even if they are dual contracts until TNA does finally die, it's still, I'm pretty sure that was the overall purpose of this working together, is for GFW to be able to have its claws suck into some talent before we make it to television tapings for them.
Fair enough. Sean, do you have anything you want to add before we move on?
I mean, it's one of these. It's interesting. We still need to find out how this whole invasion thing's gonna play out. I got some information from somebody that we all know personally. He told me that it was through a person that was at the latest TNA tapings. It was Tommy Dreamer and somebody else talking that Dixie did not show for a production meeting because there's always somebody from Destination America at those meetings, and that Dixie apparently sent an email to all TNA talent saying that they were going to run their show and not listen to what Destination America says. And then she apparently still copied somebody from Destination America in the email. So,
wow.
God bless you, Dixie.
I don't understand how you don't just not hit the CC button. Like, are you still using Outlook or whatever that pretty much, copies the same email for you every time because it's a frequent contact or whatever? But like, if you're using any kind of Gmail or any kind of email that's still used today, that doesn't happen. You have to physically put the person in the email.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why wouldn't you double check your emails at this point? How many times have you messed up? Then the fact that she's so, they're apparently those tapings, that's why they're a whole week and something long, is because those tapings will give them shows all the way until December. So I think Dixie really is that delusional that she thinks that the show's going to be able to run even if they're not on Destination America. Or she thinks Destination America is going to just do so awesome and like do them an awesome favor and go, hey, who cares if your Slammiversary, your Bell to Bell show that had all these supposed awesome matches on it, or were supposed to, got one of the lowest ratings in TNA Destination America history. But, that pay-per-view is supposed to be so important that you had, a couple of days before it. So, that should tell you everything.
I made it through a match and a half and I was done.
Well, this is why we watch shows, so you guys don't have to.
Exactly.
Thank you. I thank you guys for taking the bullet.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, like Sean said. I mean, that was the second lowest rated show besides, I think it was the first show that they actually did. And on Destination America, of course.
On Wednesdays.
Yeah, on Wednesdays. And so, my God, that is just, it's amazing. Following a pay-per-view that is supposed to be very, very important. Their WrestleMania, here you go.
ROH had a show that was matches from something from May that they've had on ROH On Demand for at least a month and a half and on Nefarious Means for about that long. A lot of the people that were going to want to see it have seen it already. Not to mention it's also a rerun from a Saturday show. And they only lost about 30,000 viewers. TNA lost 102,000 viewers.
Oof.
This also ties into a topic that we need to discuss before we get out of Quick Hits, because Raw had one of their lowest ratings since 1997, and all these shows have something in common that I don't know if you want to talk about it here or you want to wait till the end of Quick Hits.
No, just bring it up, man. Bring it up.
That maybe wrestling-heavy shows don't do well for ratings. Maybe if people that have something else to do, this is a holiday week, but it's also the Monday before the holiday, the Wednesday before the holiday. I can't imagine that everybody had this whole week off. That they see a bunch of wrestling with nothing else around it, and they go, well, this is kind of boring. And they turn it off, or they find something else they want to do, or whatever. But I don't know. In TNA's case, they had a lot going for them, and that's really weird. WWE could kind of say it was more of what you expect from WWE, except for the one match. But I mean, what do you think, Chris? Do you think there's something to say about that, or do you think it's the holiday, or what?
You know, I mean, I think an extremely small part of it might be the holiday. I don't know. As far as Raw goes, I think when you get wrestling heavy programming, unfortunately, I think it speaks to the times of today where a lot of people are really, a lot of casual fans are watching, and a lot of casual fans, a lot of people are very, you know, their attention spans are extremely short. So it's going to be a very niche group that actually enjoys heavy wrestling or wrestling heavy programming. I think a lot of people will kind of watch Raw and do other things too. So I think they enjoy, you know, the kind of, all right, I can watch this match, and then there's 3 talking segments after that. I got 20 minutes to go do whatever, and then I can come back and then watch a match. I can get up and go do whatever. I know there's going to be a talking segment. And then, you know, I think when there's match after match after match after match, they kind of say, well, I'll watch it on YouTube or whatever. You know, just shut it off. So, I mean, I just think it's a product of the times. I hope maybe I hope it kind of goes away as far as people having short attention spans, because I personally enjoy, I like talking segments, but I enjoy wrestling heavy programming. I want to watch, if I'm going to watch a wrestling show, I want to watch a wrestling show. I don't want to watch, you know, people sit there and talk for, you know, 2.5 hours. It's just not, you know, that's all I want to watch, but I'm one of, you know, 6 billion people, so it doesn't really make a difference, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're coming from here, and, you know, it kind of surprises me just because of the fact that, you know, you would think the audience would be just like you, Chris, where you want to watch more of the wrestling and a little less of the talking, because how many times on Raw did we come out with 30 minutes of talking, and then we finally get into wrestling? Even TNA started copying that format at times. All these other, and now we finally get a chance to see it without all that. And of course, you know, Raw still had pretty much a game show. But besides that, all these other shows didn't, and still low ratings. I mean, I don't know about you, Paul, but that's just odd to me. It's kind of like giving the fans what they want, and they still don't watch.
I think it's kind of rough. Ring of Honor is a little hard to explain because their show this week was good. And it's not like TNA had a bad show. But I think the press is starting to get to people. All the bad news, all these other things that are swirling around TNA right now, I think is what torched the rating for them. Because why are people going to invest in the company that they don't know is going to be on TV after September? Why are they going to invest time in trying to get attached to a bunch of characters that they don't know if they're going to make it around another year? You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. This is just, you know, it's wild to me. Now, maybe this is also a reason we're seeing, you know, some other things happen, especially in TNA. I mean, my goodness, they've had to make other arrangements, not just because of their TV shows. Now they're nixing their pay-per-views. They were going to do a lot of one-night-onlys. And of course, you know, I don't know how that would help them, but they planned on it. They're trying their best.
So irrelevant.
They are terribly irrelevant. And
can you believe we actually reviewed those for a while?
I'm still embarrassed about that now. We tried, people. We wanted to get those over. Yeah, anyway. So long story short, I mean, they're making changes because they can't even get people to barely watch their TV show, let alone a show that the people have to pay for. So, I mean, this is very, very interesting, and I just want to know what's going to happen in the future. What are we going to get? Are people going to scream, oh, we need more talking now? Or where's that happy medium? And I just don't know if anybody has a happy medium for everybody now.
Here's what Vince will say, we need more talking now, because this is what WWE does. Well, for one, let's be honest here. This is the only show that didn't have Brock on it in this lead up to Battleground. That probably made them go, okay, well, this is going to be a filler show.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine that somebody put this down on paper and said this is going to be an awesome show tonight, because aside from Cena Cesaro, a lot of this felt like walking in place. And there wasn't a lot. It was a lot of, we moved about 2 feet forward and everything else was just there. There was nothing that went like, oh, we really progressed this today. Just nothing felt like, okay, I should be excited about this for next week. So I know we're giving away our Raw thing right now, but I just think that we know how Vince is. He goes from one extreme to another. He doesn't think about the middle ground. Now, other shows, ROH is an anomaly. I think Lucha Underground also, this is probably the first time ever that we're going to be talking about a Lucha Underground that was probably meh. We're always singing the praises of Lucha Underground, so I think they're kind of off of it too. TNA is the weird one, right? Like, TNA is the one that you're going, I don't even know what they're thinking. For one, the next 2 shows are taped already, so that doesn't matter. Who knows what they're going to be thinking about with these final batch of whatever shows they got, because are they going to just throw everything into the fire and see what sticks and try to get everybody to watch because this invasion thing's happening? Like, what are they going to do? This is what's going to be funny. What happens in these tapings before you get to those July tapings at the end of the month, it's going to be really telling to see how far they tell Billy Corrigan, okay, let's ratchet up the craziness because we got to get them hooked here, or we're dead.
Exactly, you're totally right. And the fact that they tape these so far in advance, to me, that's also a sign of, hey, we're going to be affected, because anything else that happens, you can't get to it. You can't make an acknowledgement of anything. I guess, if a big wrestler passes away or something like that, you can put it in the beginning of your show. But besides that, you can't address anything because you're always moving so far ahead. So I don't like that about those. But, looking at this whole landscape, we're seeing that, they're making all these changes. And WWE's doing the same thing. They're trying to get people to get their network. They're having to make changes for themselves. And, look at this. You mentioned Brock Lesnar a while ago, Sean. They may even be adding Brock Lesnar onto more things. Brock Lesnar apparently has his shirts advertised in different countries, like the UK with London, Australia is another one, and like they're going to do in Beast in the East, he's going to show up on that show. So we may be seeing Brock Lesnar travel the globe now to be a part of some maybe other big network specials like we're going to see in Tokyo. So this is something where WWE's really trying to grab a hold of people, trying to say, hey, we're global, but we're also showing some house shows in other countries. Come check them out. I think it's a cool deal. I think it's a really smart idea, whereas, some of these other organizations don't have that opportunity. But what do you guys think about that? Do you like the idea of having more shows like Tokyo, Beast in the East for the WWE Network? And, of course, Brock Lesnar being a part of those. That's kind of a big deal with a guy that's limited on his dates. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, this is what the network was made for, right? Aside Brock Lesnar just a plus from the whole thing. But this is why I bought the network the day it came out, because I want to see things like this. I want to see things like, I want to see things like the getting to know Finn Balor segments. I want to see the things like live shows and anything that is what we don't get on regular WWE television pay-per-views. Behind the scenes, getting to know the people as real people, and actually being able to make a connection to not only the character, but the person behind the character. I think that adds an entire dimension to the product, and that's what the network's for. That's what the network's for from the very beginning. So I'm totally happy that they're doing it finally, and I hope to see a lot more of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the thing. I really like the specials a lot. I really hope that they keep finding a way to make them feel special, because watching Brock Lesnar squash Kofi Kingston feels special, even though people are saying it's total crap. NXT Championship match that's sure to be amazing is going to be match of the year, probably, or a match of the year candidate. That'll make that show special. But if they don't overexpose the idea is what I'm worried about, because WWE is very good at doing that, at overexposing an idea. So if you want to keep doing a month, maybe just do it once a month, or maybe once every other month, and you keep finding a way to make them feel special, you will get people to watch.
My thing with it is, I think we've been talking about this. many times when we talk about having live things on the network, I think if you, I don't know if they necessarily have to feel special. I think if you just pick, now if you have things like the Tokyo one or the Australia one or England or whatever, even though they already go to England for TV anyway, so it's really not that big a deal. But if you go to one, just pick a random one, maybe one where there's technically a crowd that probably cares more than others, and film it and put it on the network. And you don't have to make a big deal about every single one, like those Madison Square Garden old shows or whatever. I think it would be cool to have a once a month random live event when you don't have one of these special, we went to a different country one or whatever. That kind of gives you a glimpse into what you get when you go to a live event, so it also kind of drives ticket sales to your live events the next time they come to that person's town or whatever. It's also just something different that you don't get if, I mean, I've said this a bunch of times, but I kind of appreciated those, when I was watching the Best of Super Juniors, the hard cam, no announcer shows more than I did the regular shows, because it's cool. You get this different atmosphere than you do when you're just watching Raw or one of their bigger shows that has announcers talking all over it and whatever. You know, it's this more intimate feeling that you get, which I think would be cool if they did it. It's just the whole, like Paul says, there is a fact to it that if you're overhyping a show that really doesn't have this tremendous card, people won't tune in the next time you do it. You know, that's why maybe you don't need to hype them every time unless you're in a different country or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's, you know, I agree with that. And, you know, there's one that just came out, I believe it was last Friday, or Saturday. They did a live show in Boston. And it was a big show. A buddy of mine actually went to it, and you know, he's a huge Rock fan. Loves The Rock. In fact, me and Sean play fantasy football, and actually Paul did too this year with him. And he always has the Rock symbol, and just a giant fan. Well, The Rock appeared, and no one knew. Even some of the guys in the backstage didn't know. So that would have been a great live event to see. You know, for people to be, oh, this is awesome, live events like this. So I could even see The Rock show up in my town. Yeah, I think that'd been a good one to air. Me personally, but you know,
yeah, I think Jericho's there too.
Yes, you're right. Jericho's, and that's another thing. We're going to get to see Jericho in the Beast of the East, and the reason is because he's on that special summer tour, only live events, not doing TV. This is the only thing considered TV that he's doing. I mean, I don't think he was planning on that, to be honest with you. So I think that's also another reason we're not seeing, you know, some of the other matches with Jericho, because he wants some of the other matches to be special over there. But long story short, I just think it's a great idea. I think they should definitely use this. I don't want them to do it all the time, though. It will get old. It needs to be special. It needs to be here and there. You know, I just think it needs to be, you know, something that we all actually want to be interested in. Because if it's all the time, we won't be interested.
I mean, that's the cool thing, though, is that you can. They don't go to do overseas tours all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, they do them like every 3 months or something like that. I mean, so you can hype those and you can kind of stack those cards a little bit for the one that you want to show on the network, and it still accomplishes everything you want in your live event of you don't know who's going to show up, like they did with The Rock and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's a good another tool. For a bad thing for them. They need every kind of tool they can possibly have to get the network.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, they need to make as much money as they can because, my God, they keep getting sued, you know? So they have to pay for those lawyers. So please go sponsor them by getting the network. $9.99 helps pay for another lawyer. You know, because look at, my God, they're just now consolidating all the lawsuits with the stocks. They're trying their best to block a lot of these wrongful death suits that they're getting. Doink the Clown being one of them. We've already seen Viscera's wife jump in the fair. Tons of these lawsuits are happening, and it's just so interesting that people actually still think that this is going to be a winning situation for them. I don't understand it, guys. Why would you ever think that you could get something like this done? I mean, I understand lawyers are smooth talkers, but You don't have any right to say that your loved one died because they wrestled in WWE. It's simple. Most of these guys, I'd almost say every one of the guys that we've talked about on the show that have actually had these lawsuits have wrestled many, many other places. So why would they think that they could get this going in court? I don't understand it.
Well, WWE has a lot of money, that's why.
Yeah, that's true. They're hoping, right? They're wishing that this could come true.
They're hoping they have a lot of money anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just have one message for them: hope in one hand and wish.
I mean, the only problem that they have is that there's apparently this one guy that they have on tape that apparently could get WWE in trouble because he said a bunch of stuff that makes it seem like WWE was really over bloating the stuff about how the network was going to make all these viewers and the whole thing with the TV deal and whatever, and WWE kind of told him to like, hey, you need to backtrack on this, and all of a sudden there's this affidavit that says, hey, I didn't say this. Well, the problem is they have you on tape saying it, so this is why WWE's trying to get all this stuff consolidated and then trying to get the stuff with the lawsuits with the wrestlers, like where they can't do that anymore because they don't want like a zillion lawsuits going on, especially if one of them could wind up hurting them.
Yep, you're right. And so they're trying to figure it out. It's a process, and it's nothing new. We just thought we'd mention it real quick. It's just ridiculous. All right. Well, you know what? We've got to move on out of quick hits. And real quick, I did not get a chance to do this, guys, and I totally apologize. I got so excited about jumping into the news. I did not run down the show. So quickly, for all the people listening, we are going to cover...
Gary.
I know. I'm sorry. Such a bad host. I'm sorry. But you know what? I just get so excited about these things. Talking about TNA and all the destruction. And let's talk about the fact that we are going to talk about Raw tonight, like always. We are also going to jump into some NXT, along with some special stuff. We are going to cover the Beast in the East, I guess, and we're going to go down that card and we are going to cover it from head to toe, kind of give you our predictions, as well as we are going to do New Japan's Dimension. So those are two big shows we're going to run down. Dominion. Man, what Dimension? I want to go to the Dimension. Anyway,
where's Harry? We need to have a Harry botch.
Ding! Every time I have a botch. Ding, ding. Okay, Dominion. There you go, New Japan fans. And, of course, we are going to cover Lucha Underground as always. We are going to cover Slammiversary. We did watch it, even though I'm not sure how many other people watched it. And TNA, which we know a lot of people didn't watch that. So, hey, we're your source for that. But anyway, guys,
we ragged on TNA already. That we got to talk about their shows later.
I know. At least it's at the end of the show, so you can. So anyway, well, guys, definitely a good show. But let's move on. We've got a lot of other stuff to do. Monday Night Raw.
WWE Monday Night Raw.
Sorry, my the speaker was telling me that we had lost signal for a second. I was freaking out. Well, while we were me trying to figure out what button to press. So, we might get a call in during this. I don't know for sure yet if he's actually listening, or I was told to let him know when we got to this segment, but who knows. So Raw was in Washington, D.C. Batista was there, but thankfully he stayed backstage.
Couldn't really show any worse, really.
Yeah, that's true. So, we start with the Raw is Game Show, or Raw is The Price is Right, or Raw is... At least it wasn't the typical Authority promo. And then we kind of... This is basically like the Seth Rollins saying thank you for having the United Authority now. Because it can't ever just be the Authority. It has to be now the United Authority or whatever other name they're going to give it next week or whatever. But this is kind of your storyline going through here because of the whole Reigns beatdown from last week. So, that's going to wind up eventually during that, we get a Kane, because Kane is going to get a nice vacation to Hawaii as part of his little gift. So before he goes to Hawaii, which I guess he's going to do Hawaii in a week, which I guess technically you can do. But, whatever. He's just going to do Hawaii in a week and be back next week on Raw. Or maybe perhaps he'll sell the fact that he's in Hawaii and not be on at all, which would be great for everybody else. But either way, we're going to get Kane and Seth Rollins against Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns in the main event. So at least that has a beginning and an end for the cyclical authority segment for your entire show. But what do you guys think about Jamie Noble and Mercury riding around in a Cadillac? And how long before they destroy that Cadillac, by the way? What do you think, Christopher?
I had to start out by one thing, saying it's funny how on Raw he was going to Hawaii, but I just watched SmackDown tonight, and Seth Rollins said he was going to Japan to oversee the show in Tokyo.
I guess he delayed his Hawaii trip.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad there's continuity there. But anyway, it served a purpose. I can see where they were going with the whole thing. Seth Rollins is kissing up to his buddies that he, threw the curve a couple weeks ago and trying to get on his side. Brock Lesnar is going to be coming for him next week, and I see it. But I feel like this could have been a backstage segment throughout the night, like multiple backstage segments throughout the night, and it could have been like, oh hey, what's the name? Oh hey, I gave you guys Apple Watches, and the next one, oh hey, here's a car in the parking lot, it's yours. Oh, I don't know. I think that's what's probably going to happen next week. Is Brock's going to come back and destroy the car in some awesome Brock Lesnar fashion. But it did what it was supposed to do until 20 minutes, I guess.
If you're saying Brock Lesnar F5's a car next week, everybody better watch Raw.
Yeah, I'm in.
He better. Off the top of the building.
On top of the tower. Just.
Yes, he will.
Talk about a visual, man. Everybody better be watching that Raw.
Hey, that will definitely make ESPN.
Yeah, that'll replace the Brock Lesnar F5ing the Shark or whatever.
Yeah, that is also a glorious moment of wrestling history.
F5ing a Cadillac. Yeah, that's what's right there.
Beautiful.
Man, this opening segment wasn't setting the world on fire, but at the very least, it bordered on so bad it was funny. And I can appreciate that.
You know what? The whole time it was happening, I thought, Raw's in the 80s, Raw's in the 80s, here we are again, here we are again. It just felt like a cartoon.
It should have had Bob Barker come out again.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be better than, for the most part. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong. It just so hokey, it's cheesy. I mean, I really did feel like I was just waiting for characters to come out and just, I don't know, Disney World guy, Mickey Mouse run out. I just was waiting for all that. But in the long run, it got the point across. We get it. These guys are now happy with their new toys and the fact that Seth Rollins is with them again. So, it is what it is.
There is
Sean, are you saying Bob Barker should have F5 a Cadillac?
No, I was just saying Bob Barker should. That would have been great if he could.
Mr. Burns.
Wow. There is one good thing that came out, that I saw in this segment is how much better Seth Rollins is on the mic. He's become. I think he just seems a lot more comfortable. A lot more. He's really embracing his character. I think he just seems a lot more comfortable. Like when he was with the Shield, he wouldn't do a lot of talking. When he did, it seemed really quick, and he was nervous. You can tell. And I feel like in the last couple of months, especially, I think he's become really decent on the mic.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. He's one of the ones that I was surprised at how well he progressed. I'm a little bit hard on people when it comes to mic skills. I just am. And I really feel like this guy's done fine. I heard other people criticize him. Like, how can you criticize him? He's doing way better than some of the other guys I can point out.
Roman
Yeah,
Reigns.
it's somebody who I feel has really, really grown into his role so well. And it's been a slow thing that you've got to see grow since the beginning of the Shield all the way to now. He's just slowly grown into this role, and it works so well for him, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Paul's the one here that's watched him from even before he was in WWE. So if he's telling you he has progressed, which he has said many times on here, it's the truth. I mean, he still sounds like your old hacking grandma, but at least he can make it very much convincing and funny. So, I mean, and if you're gonna have these expensive ass watches, it's not like Rolexes where they shine and they're all gold and whatever. At least turn them on. Let us see what's in the hardware or whatever. But
they got to return them, Sean. They couldn't, turn them on. They're probably.
I wonder if like WWE's just getting. They know they're not getting the great advertising like for the actual TV show, so they're doing on-air advertising instead. Is that what we're doing now? Between that and Carl's Jr. and Sonic and all the other ones. Mizdow with the Sonic lady was still awesome.
I'll be honest with you. It made me want a Sonic shake, and I hate him. So.
Oh, there you go. But yeah, so I mean, what did you guys think of? We also had Dean Ambrose talking to Terminator. That was the freaking main event was brought to you by Terminator Genesis. Boy, are we getting bad? We're just really getting bad on the shilling at this point. Like the entire main event is brought to you by a movie.
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. And by the way, I do love Sonic Shakes if they're sponsoring this podcast.
Boy, Gary.
Heyo.
But anyway, hey, we did get Dean Ambrose talking to a Terminator robot or whatever. So, between that and that we all need to rage, I don't know how to feel about that little segment. But yeah, it's just like apparently you don't need to get hurt in WWE because Alex Riley, your catchphrase has been stolen.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought too.
But seriously, it doesn't mean that just because Roman Reigns says it, it's any better. It's a terrible catchphrase. Let's just. Mm-hmm. I hope someone hears that and goes, "No, we're just not doing that again." Just.
Put the brakes on for that. Yeah.
The sad thing is, probably Vince figured it out, never even knowing that Alex Riley said it, and says, "Okay, we're going with this. Just push it to the moon, guys." Between believe that and let's rage, that'll be the next thing we put on a T-shirt. Just. And that main event. What do you guys think of that main event, Chris?
It was alright. It was okay. I mean, wasn't anything I'm gonna tell my kids. Tell my kids about when they, get older. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I guess it wasn't anything great. And Bray Wyatt attacked Reigns and had his fun, and it cost him the match. And does that mean Bray Wyatt's kind of a part of the Authority now, or is he just kind of I don't know?
He's just kind of there.
He just kind of he has been for the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It was okay. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't anything amazing. It was just there.
Very paint by numbers, which you could apply to a lot of Raw, but this match, I think, very much paint by numbers, very cookie cutter, nothing incredibly special, and nothing we'll be talking about probably ever again.
Yeah.
This is certainly there was a lot of camera issues with this Raw too, a lot of production stuff. I don't think we were supposed to see Bray Wyatt come out the second time. And that looked really awkward. He's just like coming behind whoever it was that was standing there, and I kind of felt like, were we supposed to know that Wyatt was there again? Like, I felt like that's one of those things, like we were just supposed to see Wyatt in the ring, and it just felt weird.
That last week they had the green screen happen during a promo in the back, and then now they have this, and it's like, wow, production's going down a little bit, or they're having some major issues.
Are they not getting paid too? Is that?
It's hard to stay awake in that truck when you're filming something boring.
Yeah. Or maybe Dunn's getting that old and he's falling asleep during the show, too.
God, please, can we just... So we might as well talk about this here, right? Is there any belief to this deal with Kevin Dunn where he thinks that Charlotte and Sasha Banks shouldn't come up because they don't look like supermodels?
If that's the truth, then that man needs to go. Because, I mean, but, you know, it's on the fact, in my opinion, I've said this before on this show, I've said this before to my friends, to other wrestling fans alike, I am terrified of them coming up onto the main roster. Whether Kevin Dunn thinks they look like supermodels or not, I mean, they're gorgeous. They're not, you know, I mean, there's no question about it. But that's beside the point. I am terrified that they're just going to end up like any other. They're just going to turn into like run of the mill divas, and they're just going to get swept under the rug and put into a feud with the Bellas, and the Bellas are going to come out and just destroy them. And, oh, hey, Total Divas is on Tuesday night at 10, by the way. You know, that's how I feel it's going to happen. I'm scared that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, to me, it's a fear of mine as well because of the fact that basically everybody just is under the Bella Twins. No matter what, no matter how good of a wrestler you are, no matter how good of an entertainer you are always under the Bella Twins, no matter what. And as long as they get to do what they get to do, then you just follow along, and it's a waste of talent. I feel like if they're going to do that, yeah, sure, keep them on NXT. At least let them work well.
You know, when it comes to Kevin Dunn, I would very much donate every penny I have to a Kickstarter to build a cannon to shoot him into the sun.
Call Superman.
When it comes to bringing up Sasha and Charlotte, I share the same fear, and it's not that I feel like they're going to have them jobbed to the Bella Twins. I have the fear that even with these new exciting talents in the Divas division, the writers still aren't going to care. They're still not going to book the division like it means anything. They're not going to book these girls in anything meaningful. And what's going to turn out to be what we all thought was going to be the saving grace of the division is these great NXT talents. They're going to turn out to be duds. And that's way, way less than what they deserve. These girls deserve to shine at every opportunity they can get. And with the way they book the Divas right now, it won't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if for some strange reason, like, the Bellas kind of take a hiatus and they're just kind of out of the picture, and it turns into like maybe Charlotte and Sasha for the title at a pay-per-view. It doesn't really matter which one at this point. I think just to even give the Diva division a kick in the ass, give them what they did. Give them what they did at I forgot what it wasn't Our Evolution, was it? Yeah, it was. I forgot. It was one of the NXT titles. They had like a 25-minute match, and it was amazing. And that's what they need to do. I want the pay-per-views. Give them that time. Let the audience see what they can do, and see where it can go from there.
All right, well, speaking of seeing where they can go from there, well, for one, Nikki and Brie were at a Comic-Con. I don't know which one it was this week. They go to like a zillion of them. Apparently, Nikki's been wrestling with a separated shoulder for a little while. So, props to her for not just going back on the injured list and wrestling through it. But she, apparently both of them, now I think this is a little bit kayfabe because you know that they have to be bringing up at least one of them with this angle or it means absolutely nothing because just Natalya coming back is not enough. They have to bring somebody else that we haven't seen or that the main casual folk have not seen before. And I just think it doesn't work if you just use divas that are already on the roster. It's still going to feel the same. That apparently the Bellas have been asking to bring up some of the NXT divas for a while and that they keep getting shot down.
Really?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't necessarily not believe. I think Nikki has said this, and so has Brie. Didn't they have that quote at another Comic-Con where they said they'd almost much rather be in NXT at this point?
Yes.
So, like, I don't think that it's a lie. They're not. I think it's real. Like, they probably really do want new divas and new everything to wrestle with, because everything's kind of stale at this point. You know?
Well, the way I look at this is WWE does so many great things when it comes to charity work and things like that. Make a wish come true. Send them down to NXT. Let them enjoy themselves.
If they can do it for Eva Marie, then they should be able to do it for the Bell Twins.
I agree. You can't play favoritism in this. Let's send the Bell Twins down there. Let them see what a wrestling match looks like.
I don't think that's the problem, Gary. I think that...
Well, the booking, you're talking about the writers. The writers are the biggest issue with the Twins.
Send the writers down there.
No!
Three are not the problem. Send the writers so they can see what writing looks like, because apparently what they do doesn't revolve around writing.
Yeah, they pretend like they know.
Let's be honest, though. Vince controls all that, and we've heard numerous reports now of writers are pissed off because they feel like they can't progress any storylines because the wrestlers don't do anything. Which, again, if the wrestlers if there's no point, this is like one thing because we're talking about New Japan today. As much as you have a wrestler that for the most part you can tell which one's going to take the fall, at least there's a logical progression that you can say, okay, there's a reason why this guy is higher than this guy and why this guy needs to take the fall, because it leads to something in the end, and all these wins are allowed to make him look strong, and there's a storyline means to an end there. All this guy wins and this guy loses, and then this guy wins the next week and then he loses and all that stuff. It's like you're doing nothing for these people. How can you book a storyline if you don't have an A to B? Mm-hmm. So I agree with that. What my point was in that the Alicia Fox versus Paige was one of the best parts of Raw. It wasn't anything like blow your mind spectacular, but the Divas got time, and the crowd started getting into it in the end. Why? Because they got time. And it was sort of fresh. It wasn't one of the Bellas against Paige. It was Paige and one of her good friends, so they probably went out there and really wanted to actually have a good match. And, I never felt like I needed to go to the bathroom during it. So, I mean, I just think that, honestly, more of that, please, if we're going to do the Divas. But just kind of make it have a point. This one kind of does, because Alicia's the new sympathizer with the Bellas or whatever, but I kind of want to keep seeing some of this. Like, Paige has a point to be wrestling Alicia, and it means something in the end to the whole deal with the Bellas. But it's probably not going to. So, but what did you think, Chris?
I mean, I can sit here and talk about the Divas division the entire night, but it was a good match. What it was, I think it's nice to see Alicia Fox. I've always enjoyed Alicia Fox as far as her, as far as she goes. I just wish that, I guess, the only thing I've had an issue with this whole storyline is it seems like everybody's on. I don't know. I know the whole payoff at the end is to have, 1, 2, new divas or whoever come out and help Paige. But I feel like, shouldn't there at least be somebody helping Paige now and, like, getting just completely just beat up and destroyed, and then all of a sudden it's like Paige's options are completely out, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes Charlotte or whoever they decide to do, and it's like a surprise to Paige, and it's a surprise to everybody. Instead of just having Paige be completely alone through the entire thing, it just seems like she's not even trying to find help. She's just kind of just milling through, and all of a sudden, oh, here's help. All right, cool. You know, I don't know. That's just my point of view on the whole thing.
If they really wanted to, this could be the feud that jumpstarts the Divas division, because you could, like you said, Paige could be looking for help. The first person she finds could turn on her, and all that stuff. And then she finds another person, and that person either gets beat up so bad that she just doesn't want to help Paige anymore or whatever, and Paige finally just has enough, says, F it, this is my house, I'm going to do it alone, and then she realizes she can't, and that's when she goes to NXT and she brings up whoever. You could get several months out of that story. Is WWE going to do that? Probably not.
No.
Probably
Actually,
not.
the way that it's built, they could, if they do it right, they could do it to a big blow-off at Survivor Series and make the Survivor Series Divas match mean something.
Yeah, but now we're asking the book till November with the Divas.
That's crazy. Wow.
This is the definition of a dream, Sean.
I mean, yeah, like
But,
you have Victoria
okay,
booking
but
for.
wouldn't it be much easier for them to book one storyline for that long than it would be? How long did they book Total Divas versus AJ? Seemed like forever, right? I mean,
How many times did they start and stop that?
Well, true. But,
Yeah,
I mean...
consistent booking for WWE is almost an impossibility. You get it once in a blue moon, and Kevin Owens and John Cena has been our once in a blue moon.
Yep, true. I just and John Cena with the U.S. title, period, has been
That's
a
true.
once in a blue moon.
It's been great, yeah. So is
So
this
I
whole
just-
Divas thing blowing off at Battleground, or are they waiting till SummerSlam?
I think you have to do. Okay, here my scenario was this, and I think I'm also dreaming because it's probably not going to happen. But okay, so the good thing about, and we saw this on Raw, which I'm going to talk. We'll talk about this next. Tyson Kidd. This is the one terrible thing about Tyson Kidd getting injured. His tag partner and his wife are now free to do things. We saw Cesaro. We're going to talk about Cesaro. Natalya is now free to come back to the women's division. Why not have Natalya come back as the one main roster diva that helps Paige? She is a legit wrestler. I think you could have her show up and have, you have this Naomi and Paige and Nikki throwaway Divas title match that we already had anyway. Naomi's supposed to be a heel, but I don't know what the hell they're doing with her because she wrestles Nikki on SmackDown, and I guess what's supposed to be a preview of their match in Japan, I don't know. But, okay, so Naomi and Tamina are heels. Have Naomi attack Paige afterwards and make it seem like she is siding with the Bellas. And then you have Natalya run down and save her, and this is on the network, so you can use this on Raw and say, oh, look, somebody finally came to help Paige. And maybe not the next Raw, but the Raw go-home. It depends on how many they're going to bring up here. If they're bringing up 2 NXT Divas or whatever, then maybe you have Charlotte show up on the go-home, and you have Sasha show up at Battleground, and then you can build up to this big Divas multiple-person tag match at SummerSlam. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's too much logic there, but...
That'd be great, but, it's WWE booking, so we all know how that goes.
Yeah, so if you were listening live, we lost the feed because my computer is freaking, I don't know if it's my computer or whatever it is, Chrome or Firefox or whoever I'm supposed to blame for this madness, but we are now being returned to your regular scheduled program of us reviewing Raw. So I'm sure that we apparently had a conversation about Nikki Bella and we've had a bunch of conversations that apparently were off air. So let's try to get some of it on air again. So do you guys think if WWE wasn't intent on this whole breaking AJ's streak, which they mention it every freaking week how many days she's on, which is what they were doing with AJ at one point when they really wanted to make sure she broke the streak at first. Do you guys think that Nikki would have the title right now?
I don't think so at all. I think we mentioned it in the conversation after. I think they were going to give it to Naomi. They got a little gun shy, but I still believe. I think it's a shot at Punk and AJ. It could not be, but that's why I personally think it is.
It could be. It looked like they were going to put the belt on Naomi for a long time, and they didn't do that. So they might have got gun-shy about her. It might be a combination of both things. It could be some other circumstances we don't know about, but I don't want to believe that WWE is that dickish, but I do know that there are plenty of proofs out there to throw in my face that say that they are.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. I can see it being more vindictive than anything. Just upset AJ left, and I think they really needed her. They wanted her to stay around, for their own reasons. Hey, money, a big one of them. Viewership, another. And so, I think that's why they're keen on this.
I wonder with Naomi though. She was obviously, we went through this where she was kind of being sloppy in matches, and she wasn't being consistent, so that probably scared them a little bit, like Chris was saying, and that's a big factor. I mean, if you're supposed to be the Divas champion, or if you're not, I mean, obviously the Bellas are not perfect. They botch things, it seems like every match, but there's difference in being a Bella with who you're with and just being Naomi, and your husband is kind of not doing anything on TV right now either, and you're put on the microscope a lot more. You're giving less you're being given less rope. If you screw up, you're gonna be looked harder on than if one of the Bellas screw up. That's just a matter of fact, I think. And, there was probably something there that said, well, okay, not going to go that way. Let's just keep it on Nikki. And then when they really started getting close to the record, I think they just finally said, okay, let's just have her break it. Take our little shot at Punk. I just don't think that was like Chris was mentioning. I think there was some kind of intent to give it to Naomi, but once they kept it on Nikki and then didn't really have a reason to put it on anybody else, except Paige, who's already had it multiple times, it just might as well do it,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Benoit's not a very good example, but WWE did make sure that they broke his records that he had. The one in the Royal Rumble and the one for being the youngest. Well, I think the one with they broke Brock's youngest champion record with Randy Orton on purpose because of how he left.
That's right.
There's that. So maybe what Paul was saying is true, that WWE does have a track record of kind of being jerks when it comes to what records they want. And it's so funny because they themselves have their own revisionist history as to what they recognize and what they don't recognize and all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
At least they're trying to break the record and mentioning it and not saying, oh, that record doesn't exist at all. So
Yeah, that's true.
But I did mention that we were going to talk about Cesaro, and probably the saving grace of this Raw was the fact of, once again, which has been the saving grace of a lot of Raws lately, with Cena and Owens doing something, or Cena's US Open challenge, or Owens' NXT challenge, or whatnot. So once again, we get all this wrapped into one. We have Cena coming out doing his shtick. Thankfully, he did it on the ramp more than he did in the ring. Issues an open challenge for the U.S. title, which apparently was added at the last minute and led a lot of people to believe that maybe Finn Balor would make his Raw appearance here so that it kind of bleeds into the special on Saturday. But he did not show up. And instead, we got Kevin Owens showing up to make it seem like he was going to accept the title challenge, but he doesn't because he says it himself. I'm going to wait till Battleground. Why give it away for free on TV? Or, well, for less than $9.99. And then he sits at the table doing commentary, making fun of Byron Saxton, which he is awesome at doing. I mean, if there's one guy that I want constantly badgering Byron Saxton, is Kevin Owens. Not to mention that Byron Saxton's just bad. But anyway, that guy really, we don't need to have another JBL at the same table with JBL. But either way, my whole point in this is this 7 was great. You have Owens say that, oh wait, there's this man who we have not seen in a while because of Tyson Kidd being injured and all that. Cesaro returns and once again puts on a fantastic match with John Cena. He has a string of fantastic matches with John Cena on Raw, as a matter of fact. But this one kind of felt sort of different. Paul, do you have like a thought of, well, where does this rank on your whole Cesaro matches with Cena? By the way.
Jesus, I don't know. Some of them are kind of old now and maybe faded from memory, but I mean, this was a really, really good match. I think Larry over at 411 gave it 4 stars, which doesn't happen on every single Raw, much less any Raw, I think, these days. Cesaro winning by DQ was a bit of a shock, because I figured they would want to keep Cena looking strong heading into Battleground, but Kevin Owens, of course, going to do what he's going to do. But yeah, it's certainly one of the better encounters I think they've had. And these two just work so well together, not to mention Cesaro is just a wrestling machine. But Cena certainly does work great with people who are just terrific in the ring. And God knows he can hold his own, but when he's the second best guy in the ring, that is when he's at his best.
Chris?
Yeah, I totally agree. This match was great from start to finish. Kevin Owens he's just a man right now. I think Balor not showing kind of makes sense because I think that would kind of take away, even though it would be for the special, kind of promote that, but I think that would be kind of almost taking away from Owens. At this point, I think if Owens wins the U.S. title, maybe he'll keep doing the U.S. Open Challenge just to make fun of Cena. Maybe Balor is the first one to answer that challenge. But with the match, Cesaro is just such an underutilized talent. The guy can put on an amazing match with anybody, and when it's put on against Cena, who is, obviously he's a man. Maybe they'll start to notice that, and maybe give him some sort of push towards something anyway. Now the kid's out for a while, so excellent match. It ranked in, I'd say, probably the best Cena Cesaro match I've seen. I have to say, I think it's for number 1.
Yeah, both of these guys have put on great matches. We know that John Cena's been doing it for quite a while now, at least this year for sure. I haven't even narrowed down to these 6 months. Very, very impressive. Cesaro has just been a great talent that, like Chris just said, underutilized. And I loved this match. I thought it was wonderful. Even though it ended in DQ, that didn't matter to me. The match was great and all. I just kind of walked away feeling a little mixed emotions, only because I wonder, does this do anything for Cesaro at all? Or does Cesaro go back to the bottom of the list again and, hey, we used you because you were one of the best that we have? Oh, but you know what? We're not going to, reward you for it. I hope that's not the case. Hopefully this guy does get a bit more of a push. Hopefully that they use him in some other areas where he's valued and not underutilized.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really hoping, I know we said this before about people that wrestle Cena, and Cesaro is one of them, that you say, hey, hoping that this really does something for this guy. And we see them just wind up doing nothing. And I really hope that now that we know, sadly, again, well, hopefully, he gets better and maybe he's back before the doctors say, but being out 14 months is a long time. And hopefully this means that, as I mentioned with Natalya, hopefully she gets to return to the women's division, and hopefully Cesaro now gets to have a say and be an important part of that mid-card. And, we've already we've talked about this before with Cesaro, like, all these matches he could have. I mean, and he's had some fantastic matches with Sheamus before, but, like, him and, it'd be face versus face, but, like, him and Roman would be awesome. Him and Ryback for the IC title would be, we've seen Cesaro pull a great match out of Ryback on Raw before. I mean, just, Cesaro can have awesome matches with almost anyone. And he's a totally underrated or underutilized as far as WWE is concerned. I don't know what Vince can do about the whole personality thing, but maybe just let him go out there and wrestle. Let him go out there and do what he did with John Cena, and let him just get over that way. People already love the swing. People already love a lot of the stuff that he does. Just, there's no need to have him have a gimmick or just do something that's totally out of character for him. Just let him be himself and go out there, and he'll get over it that way, because he's just too impressive not to. But I think moving along in this show, there was a few, I guess we can, a few mid-card things. Sadly, they kept it short, but right after you have this segment that once again is more talking at the opening of Raw, you have possibly the worst 2 matches you could possibly do back to back to try to get people into this show. Like, why have Big Show and Mark Henry version 1000, and then immediately after that you do Ryback and The Miz? Again, something people don't care about The Miz. The match was okay. It really was more about the angle than it was, whatever's going on with the match. But it's just like, I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? Like, wouldn't you have wanted something else after the talking segment to really get people like, okay, this is kind of what they normally do, but now this I want to watch, not Big Show versus Mark Henry.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? Agree. Yeah, it's one of those things where you would think that they would want to do that, but on the other hand, we've seen the lulls that we get here in Raw. Those situations where they put us in to sleep for 30 minutes and they try to wake us up in 30 minutes. They need to make sure that they keep that flow. Like you said, Sean, it's just sad that they could have done so much here and they didn't.
What's the point of even bringing Mark Henry back or even letting him come back? What's the point if he's just gonna job to whoever is doing whatever and it's not even feasible that he's a big world's strongest man. It's not even, who cares anymore? He's gonna lose. It doesn't even matter if he's the world's strongest man.
Mm-hmm.
Why even build that anymore? What's the point? Who cares? There's no threat to him. There's no nothing. At least even the Big Show has some sort of edge to him. At least he wins once in a while where he's kind of like, all right, well, he's still the Big Show. But Mark Henry, he's nothing. He's nothing.
No, but that's the problem. You brought up, like, even Mark Henry will win sometimes. He'll go on this streak of winning, but it means nothing. Like you said,
right.
it's this, he's being built up for a reason, and then when you get past that reason, which I guess right now is to get beat up by the Big Show and then have matches with Ryback that make him look good, and that's totally fine and everything, but I just hope that nobody's dreaming about adding Mark Henry and making it a fatal 4-way, because my goodness, that makes the match worse instead of better. Right?
Oh yeah. No,
you're right.
Oh yeah.
It's just sad. Mark Henry, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's a veteran. He's supposed to be getting people, but you don't need to get another veteran like Big Show over. Come on, this stuff kind of aggravates me.
They got to keep those young guys over,
Yeah, that young kid, I don't know. That's Paul White. He's been around longer than Henry, hasn't he?
Yes.
Paul White.
Mark Henry's been around longer than Big Show.
The Big Show, okay. Because Paul White was his original name coming in until they changed it. So.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing to me, like how Mark Henry has a purpose, but he could be much more utilized and be a threat to... I mean, I'm cool with, like, making him be a threat, but just don't use it for one thing and then he goes back into obscurity. Like, another guy we're going to talk about, Jack Swagger, reappears again, only to get whooped by King Barrett in, like, less than 2 minutes. You know, this same King Barrett that keeps losing in, like, 20 seconds to R-Truth, I mean... It's the definition of filler. I don't care. Why are you on my television? Like, just poor Jack Swagger. What did he do? Like,
he went to Oklahoma.
What did he do to deserve that? Again, another guy you could be using in that mid card that can do. I mean, I know you can't use everyone, but my God, just.
Do you remember when Rusev and Swagger, like when Swagger first came out with, when he first came out and challenged Rusev? Do you remember the ovation Swagger got? Like, that was the biggest ovation I ever heard that Swagger got, and people were like, I mean, that place erupted when he said "We the People," and him and Zeb Coulter. It was like, is this the same like Jack Swagger? And now look at him, and it's just like, what? Yeah, exactly. Who did he piss off, or what happened? I have no idea.
Yeah.
What do you think, Paul? We either lost him or he went to go do something else while we were...
Maybe so.
Maybe he got muted again. That happens.
Yeah, it does happen. It's sad. It really is. I don't know. You guys may be right. He may have pissed somebody off, or maybe, they just view him as there to be maybe another Zack Ryder, just a filler. And I guess back in the day, you'd call him an enhancement. So, maybe he's an enhancement talent for other guys.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible. I think they don't have anything for him other than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. It really is. And I don't know. For guys like this, I really wish that they had found other ways. And I do like the fact that Zack Ryder went down to NXT. They're using him in a different way. And, hey, if Jack Swagger, use him somewhere else, man. This guy's a waste of talent.
I mean, yeah, like you said, we've already seen Zack Ryder actually be a useful, team with Mojo on... Who thought we could ever care about Mojo again? Somehow Zack Ryder has made us do that in some semblance. And, you could easily do that for Jack Swagger. You don't necessarily have to make him this integral piece of NXT, but he can be another veteran that goes down there and adds some legitimacy to some of those guys that are coming up, or just to have better matches that aren't just squashes until you get to the main event. I don't know. Just
you look at guys like Rhino. Rhino's perfect spot. He's winning matches. He's doing it. But when it comes to the big matches and it's time to put over the young guy, puts over the young guy. It works.
I mean, to be fair, they also have to have matches to do main event superstars and all that, but just, I don't know. It's just upsetting sometimes to see a guy with that much talent kind of just not. And where the hell are the meta powers at right now?
Yeah, whatever happened to Axel and Sandow? Are they just gone, or?
I think they're still at Sonic. I think they actually.
There are a lot of drink options there.
Yeah, that would be nice. A little segment. They go back to Sonic. Where were you guys at? Oh, still can't figure out.
I would love that if they just kept going back to Sonic for like different drinks, and that would be amazing.
Oh,
but
man.
Sadly, that won't happen. Speaking of maybe not so amazing, Sheamus and Neville again. And we also got a repeat of SmackDown with Primetime Players and Lucha Dragons against New Day and Bo Dallas. So, repeat city.
Yeah,
all afterthoughts.
True.
And it sucks, and Neville has to lose because,
Well,
I
guess.
I like what, so I guess we're done with, like, I guess Neville has now fallen into the 50-50 booking deal again.
I mean, they showed us last week or a week before that they're still trying to keep him somewhat protected. It's just Sheamus has the case now. That sort of changes things.
Okay. I mean, at least Sheamus isn't losing a zillion matches either. So.
Yeah. They could have given us a better match than this. I mean, my God, why don't they finally put Sheamus against the guy that, we really want to see, and that's Randy Orton.
Oh, my God.
I've never seen that match before. I love to see that match.
I figured somebody would.
Man, that'd be great.
Thank God that Randy Orton's on vacation.
Because... Yeah. Hopefully he's in Hawaii.
I think he's supposed to come back next Monday, though, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
He's in like Bora Bora or something, I think is what it is.
It'll probably be him and Sheamus, honestly.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, just
for
they
the
don't
briefcase.
care if they ruin that battleground match. It's just keep doing it a million more times. That's okay. It'll have no heat at the pay-per-view. That's totally fine. So I think we've kind of touched everything that happened on this. Oh, wait. I left the worst part for last. That, I don't know what that was, segment between Rusev, Summer Rae, and Dolph Ziggler. It did no one any favors, maybe the whole Lana getting physical part, but Ziggler looks like a heel in this, getting upset at the guy that can't do anything right now because he's on crutches. Lana sort of teases that Ziggler is making her maybe discover her American side, but we don't get it because we're interrupted by Rusev. Then Summer Rae, of all people, is Rusev's new girlfriend, and Rusev calls Lana a cold fish. What? A cold fish, Rusev. What?
It's 1965, apparently.
Apparently that's a term for like bad kisser, but still, just that went over. That was terrible. This whole segment was terrible. Summer Rae just comes off so phony. No one has any chemistry in this entire four-way. Like, oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole idea with Ziggler and Lana to begin with was far-fetched. They just don't have any, like, it seems like they're trying so hard, at least, it just seems like they're trying so hard to kind of be like, oh, we belong together, at least on screen anyway, and it's like, no, you don't, at all. Like, they don't go together, and I guess maybe that's the whole angle, I don't know, is to be like, oh, these guys don't go together, it's like, opposite attract, but it's just stupid. It just doesn't make any sense. And then they didn't do it on Rusev's side, where Rusev had his little 2-year-old tantrum 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden here comes Summer Rae out of nowhere saying, well, hey, you're on the floor. My career is too. Let's be boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's a great way to...
It's the whole thing just makes absolutely... It's like literally someone said, all right, well, let's keep Rusev relevant, and how do we do that? Ziggler's not doing anything. Oh, throw them all together in one big pot. Let's just see what happens. And it just doesn't. None of it has any chemistry. None of it has nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was a point here at some point. I think they lost it. Because very clearly at the beginning, announcing and everything else was making it very clear that Lana was just using Dolph, and Dolph was okay with that. And it's not that anymore. I don't know what this is anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny. Just last episode, we were talking about Dolph Ziggler and him going somewhere else, and the thought process of him maybe getting into some better angles because he'll be working for a new company. But guess what? He resigns, and then here we go. This is what he's doing after he resigns. Congratulations, Dolph.
Well, technically, he did not resign. Apparently.
Oh, really? They said that? I thought it was a multi-year contract that they had talked about.
Well, depending on,
Depending on your source?
Apparently Meltzer said that he hasn't. He said that he had. He went on one interview, said he had, and then he went on another interview and said he didn't. So, and this was Ziggler himself saying this. So it's just like, okay. I think he just kind of wants to keep things open. And, that's another thing, too. We were talking about New Japan, and, the only thing with New Japan is you can't do comedy there because it's obviously a different language. So,
yeah,
I don't know how that would work, but I think it would be interesting. I just think he's trying to hold out for leverage. I think he's going to re-sign like WWE thinks he's going to re-sign because what the hell are you? What? I mean, many of your options are going by the wayside at this point. TNA is about to die. We don't know how long GFW might last. Lucha Underground, we still don't know what's going on with that. Sadly, we don't. And, the only thing, he could go to ROH, but it's just like, he doesn't have a lot of options where he could get anywhere near the semblance of the same pay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's at the end of the day, that's the thing too. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, however it works, it just this whole segment does not do anyone justice, even Dolph, and I just feel bad. I really thought, they were going to do something at least decent with this, and it's looking more and more like every day they should have just left Lana with Rusev and just kept that thing going. At least it was valuable. You could use it. It made sense. Now it's just dumber and dumber every week. So, who knows? Looks like that's pretty much Raw. I guess, let's rate it though, guys. Let's kind of give this, maybe some kind of a decent grade, I guess. Chris, we'll start with you. What would you rate this Raw?
Given the Cesaro and Cena match is the only really good match of the entire show for 3 hours. 4. And that's being generous.
Oh, okay.
I'm with you. It's the Bret Hart special, 4 out of 10.
Like it.
The Bret Hart special.
Sean, you going for trifecta? What's your choice?
I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
There was the Divas match, Cesaro and Cena, and then, I guess if you laughed at, the opening segment,
So fair enough.
There's that.
Ooh, I think I'll just go. 4. Why not? I just to be, I guess, nice. So, well, there you go, guys. That is Monday Night Raw. Interesting one, despite the fact it wasn't the greatest show. We do have some other interesting stuff, though, we're going to jump into. Don't forget, everybody, we are talking Dominion. We are also going to jump into Slammiversary. But right now, before we move on and do some other stuff, we need to talk about Beast in the East. And so we're going to jump into this real quick. Do you have actual music for this, Sean?
We're going to do NXT first because there's an NXT match on Beast of the East.
Okay, we'll do NXT. You're right. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll be right back with NXT.
WWE Developmental NXT.
That's why Sean's the best producer in the game. Keeps me on track.
Yeah, sorry I went quiet for a little bit. I was trying to figure out how to delete a video off YouTube while everybody was talking. Because now if you don't know, we do have a YouTube channel. It's called Wrestling the Max Pod. And basically our speaker shows get sent straight to YouTube when they finish. So I have this half a Spreaker episode on YouTube that I'm trying to figure out how to delete at the same time that we're doing this. But yeah, anyway, the point with this was I was supposed to actually, I didn't tell Gary, but I figured that I needed to start doing the actual, like, saying things about the show before we got to Raw, because if we say them all at the end, most people will not hear it by then. So, just to interlude before we get to, if you're a new listener, thank you for listening. In case you don't know, in case you're listening on one of the websites that we're on, 411 or Last Word or whatever, we are available on your mobile device or portable device. We are on iTunes and Stitcher and TuneIn and Player FM and Blueberry, and Last Word has their own Podbean that you can go download and just go Last Word Radio on Podbean. We're on the VOC Nation Radio Network with so many other of our friends, and you can go check us out over there too. And, you can shoot us an email at wrestlingthemax@gmail.com if you ever have a question you want to ask, or you want to give us terrible or great criticism for the podcast. Or, the best thing you can do, go on iTunes or Stitcher and do that rate and review, whether it's negative or positive. Always appreciated. So, now we can finally get to that NXT, by the way. So NXT starts off this week in a pretty much what has been sort of a thing with NXT since we've had some of these guys go up to the main roster now, is we have a lot of squash matches with NXT. Kind of like the way NXT used to be before we got. I remember me and Gary used to, review the show, and we'd be talking about, but that's why we came up with the whole thing about the squash, the soundbite for it, because it was basically for NXT, because that's what NXT was a lot of the time. And they kind of went back to that here. But so we had the Vaudevillains appear again against, what is it? Tom Dawson, Mike Dawson, Scott Dawson. That's what it is.
Yeah, Scott Dawson, yeah.
And Wilder. And this ends at about 30 minutes with the Whirling Dervish. They didn't even call it that either. I guess the announcers just forgot names of moves. They've been gone so long. We also get Baron Corbin squashing a dude. And Becky Lynch telling us that she has a hip flexor issue, and that's why she hasn't been on since Unstoppable. So, there you go. What did you guys think of this beginning of the show? Doesn't this say a lot about Baron Corbin that he's back to squashing nobodies?
Yeah, I mean, what I feel like they've been taking. I feel like he hasn't progressed as much as they probably thought he was going to, because I feel like he's been squashing nobodies for a very, very, very long time. And the one time they kind of gave him a push to go somewhere, it didn't go anywhere. Like when him and Bull Dempsey had their little thing going on, and when him and Rhino had the small thing before Unstoppable, I feel like it didn't pan out, I think, as well as they thought. So now they're kind of going back to square one. Which is whatever, I saw the guy live. He's pretty impressive looking. As far as in the ring, he's okay. He's pretty plain. But as far as Becky Lynch being injured, that kind of stinks because, I like Becky Lynch. I think she's the next, after Sasha leaves, I think she's going to be the next champion. Her and Bayley, I think, are going to have a really good feud once Bayley gets back from her injury. And this is, the fourth time they repackaged the Vaudevillains as far as their theme music. They've had, 4 different theme songs. Kind of the same version of the different ones, but it's are they going to keep this one this time, or maybe in 2 weeks we're going to have a different one?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Yeah, I don't know. They seem to have a tough time trying to figure out what they want to do with the Vaudevillains. Sometimes they seem very keen to use them. Other times they seem sort of, I think, what the rest of the NXT crowd goes with, and I think they find them boring. Even though it's a fun gimmick, I just don't know how much of that's going to translate. Baron Corbin squashing another guy's nothing new. But Becky Lynch needs to be back on my television quick, fast, and in a hurry. So
I think all of us can agree on that for sure, Paul. And I think the key word when you were just talking about the vaudevillains is fun. They are fun. The gimmick is interesting. I'm kind of into that kind of gimmick. I think it's kind of fun, the old, Hollywood movies and all that. It's cool, but I mean, when it breaks down to matches, when it breaks down to how likable are these guys when it comes to bigger picture, not really. So I just don't know where you really could go with these guys besides where they are. It's kind of sad, and I kind of feel the same way, sadly, about Enzo and Kaz. I love those guys. They're fun, but, I mean, really, how far could they go? I think there may be a limit, a ceiling to those tag teams. So, well, I could be wrong, though, and I kind of hope I am. And Baron Corbin, I mean, I get that they're trying to make it work. I get that. But I just don't know how it's going to.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Paul. I really miss, when they had those vignettes for, the Lucha Dragons, where they went back and did all the silent movie stuff or whatever. That was, the height of their awesomeness. And then they just, I don't know what it is, neither them or the Lucha Dragons are really catching on that much in NXT, to be honest. They sent the Lucha Dragons up, and I think maybe somebody's not that high on their stick, or perhaps they kind of don't know how to repackage them again anymore. So they're kind of just hoping that something catches on and they catch fire, because at this point, they're kind of like the Ascension. They're just there. And we haven't seen them in a long time, and now all of a sudden they appear again. Hopefully this means something, but the big problem, too, is that their tag division is still the worst part of the show. And, I mean, you have Enzo and Cass, and I guess now they finally decided to bring Wilder and what's-his-face back in here. And then, what? We got the tag champs. I forgot because they really don't have a lot of personality. And, yeah, I just, there needs to be something done about the tag division. It's weird because, I know it's not Triple H's fault because he got a lot of his big stars that he could kind of build a show around, and then you don't focus on that so much, but I don't know. I do like the fact that we are getting the thing with Jordan and Gable, which is putting a focus on the tag division too. So at least if you don't have a lot of teams, you can find a way to focus on it in other ways.
Right.
So after this, we get the final. We also get the. I think that's it. Yeah, we get the final. Who is Finn Balor? Which WWE packaged all together on the network and made it a little special. So if you don't watch NXT, but you've heard about these and you're interested, you can go on the network and watch it all in one sitting instead of having to go through 3 different NXTs to find it. But this one was really interesting. I thought that this one would kind of be the least interesting because it was supposed to be a lot about his NXT stuff, and you found out about why he chose the name and why he does the paint, why he only has one character, which makes total sense, right? He can keep building on that character and making it different, and you know who he is when he comes out. But I thought this was really good. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought I enjoyed the kind of. I mean, I always enjoy behind the scenes of anything. So when they did the whole him rehearsing his entrance and kind of doing the whole, and they were doing filming the vignettes and stuff like that in the performance center. I thought that was really cool to see how that was done. Hearing the stuff about his dad, and that's where his name came from, and I just seeing this show, seeing these 3 series come together, it just makes me more excited about Saturday morning, because that place is going to go insane.
I don't know about insane because it is Japan, but they'll make noise.
They'll go insane for their standards.
Yes. But yeah, this whole video series for Finn Balor has been awesome. If you haven't watched any of his stuff before, his time in NXT, it's a great way to know the guy. If you have, it's an even cooler way to see what WWE is actually mentioning about him. So, all great stuff.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. And at least now that I know that he's in the Legos, I can feel better about playing with him. You know? So, it's a good note to myself.
I love the whole stuff with, we got more Bullet Club stuff with Carl Anderson. They got to do the Too Sweet handshake and all that. I didn't think we'd see that on WWE TV either.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I just think that's not. I mean, let's be fair. They made a big deal about the fact that a lot of people like Finn. That's probably why he's getting this package. The fact that he has a match on Saturday morning and all this stuff. But honestly, just the stuff that we've seen from NXT, whether it's on Beck, and you know what? Who looks great in this is now I instantly care about. I know Jason Albert's just a trainer, but I care about what he's doing. Becky Lynch looks great in these videos with about Finn, and Becky got her own little thing too when it was leading up to that match with Sasha Banks. So it's just I don't get it. I don't get why Vince doesn't think these things work, because they obviously do. And you know what was most surprising to me, and the fact that he's a demon, but all the kids that like Finn Balor, when you think about that, all those little kids, and that you see a demon come out, and those little kids go, "Oh man, he's so cool. I really like him," and all this stuff, and it's just he's gonna be something for them. He's going to be a star that they can market for so many different reasons, and I think that video package told you all you needed to know there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, kind of like I said earlier, with these video packages and stuff like that, it opens up a whole new world aside from the character. You see the person behind the character. You see what they went through. You see how they got where they are. And, I think Vince kind of is still in that area where, we can't reveal, we can't let them see, who John Cena is in real life. He's John Cena. He's who he is in the ring. No, I'd be more interested to see what John Cena does at home and connect with him that way. Because maybe, I'm not a Cena hater like Fonty, but I would be more interested to see. Maybe I could find something in his personal life that I could connect with more, and I enjoy the character to watch him on TV. And that's the same thing I think with Finn Balor. So you have these videos, and I think it allows casual fans that wouldn't necessarily like the character, but they could see something in his personal life or how it came about in the business to really connect with them on a personal level or a different level, and they can be like, oh, well, I'm going to root for that guy now.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree, and I think that they did a few of those things for him, show the Legos and things like that. The little bitty things that, need to be shown to make the fans care, and I agree. John Cena, I don't know, any of the other guys on the roster were to do that, it would make them, I think, a lot more likable. I mean, heck, I think
I don't know. I mean, from what we see of John Cena on Total Divas, I don't know that I want to see any more about his personal life. Apparently, he just goes around with his house that nothing ever happens in.
It's hard, him having that Confederate flag in the house is weird.
I
think that also, we saw this Finn Balor video. I mean, they showed a lot of things inside, but they didn't show everything. And one of the things I think they left out majorly was his underwear modeling career. I mean, that's a big deal.
That would resonate with me personally.
Yeah.
I am an underwear model. But, I mean, well,
he definitely
you know,
could.
in all seriousness, though, that's why I'm a big fan of Kevin Owens, because, you know, Kevin Owens in real life is about his family. I love my kid. I have 2 baby girls, and I love my family, and, you know, and we're both kind of heavier guys, and, you know, it's, you know, he's proving everybody wrong. He's not your typical, you know, statuesque like John Cena or whoever. You know, he's got a big old gut, and the dude can still do flippies and all sorts of fun stuff. So it's like, you know, I mean, the guy's a, you know, that's why I like the guy. He resonates with on a personal level. It makes me enjoy his character even more.
I want to know how Vince really feels about having a guy that has to wear a T-shirt while he wrestles the entire time.
I bet you he despises it. I bet you he hates it.
Yep.
I wonder how the guys feel about that, because I bet there's not, like, everybody in the locker room big fan of the fact that you have a guy walk around in just a T-shirt and some shorts.
Yeah, I mean, the dude can work so well. Like, what does it even matter? I mean, the guy his size, I don't see anybody else. Like, you don't see, like, yeah, a guy his size. Like, imagine, like, Viscera back when he was, you know, wrestling, and, you know, rest in peace now, but standing on the middle of the rope and doing a 180 to the top rope and then doing a moonsault. I mean, come on. No way.
Yeah, look at Bull Dempsey. He's sitting there just eating on NXT.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you know what? We also mentioned, you know, Ambrose is not a heavy-set guy, and he wears the shirt. I mean, that's another guy that you kind of wonder.
Well, but, like, Ambrose is kind of like Cena in a way, that he's crazy and whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I don't know, it's just the thing, like, I want to see how far, when it comes down to it, how far we go with Kevin Owens, knowing the whole image thing, knowing all that. But I think it's also just, he's so good. It's like Brian, it's like everybody else. He's so good, there's no way that Vince or creative or whatever is going to keep him down. He's going to rise above all that, you know. Well, continuing on with what we were supposed to be talking about, I guess, NXT. It's okay. It's totally good to go off on tangents and stuff. It makes it a much more interesting show. Speaking of, I mean, we had, which I don't know why we didn't show those videos that were being posted on Instagram of her training with Brian Kendrick on NXT before. Like, they made this like special clip of her being watched by William Regal and Soledad Del Rey as she's just doing a bunch of you know, basic moves, but she's doing them in a very crisp manner, much more different than what we're used to from Eva Marie. So obviously she's learning, she's trying. I really hope that she gets to do the complete opposite of what Baron Corbin has done, which is you go out there when people expect for you to completely be who they think you are, and then you show them that you have done a complete 360 and learn how to wrestle. You know, she wouldn't be the first supermodel to do it. I mean, Taryn's showing you that she, you know, you can do it. And you know, Trish before her. So Eva Marie would be the next in line as far as that goes, and I think she would be. I hope she does just fine. But we also have Emma with Dana Brooke against Carmella. Other than the fact that Carmella taps before Emma gets the actual Emma lock in the whole way.
She's scared of what's to come, that's all.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Emma stole that one, huh?
Oh, yeah. Boy.
Gary, you want to hop on the Emma stealing thing just constantly.
Gotta love it, you know. I mean, it's not the first former, you know, diva stealing things, you know. So.
Paul,
anyways.
Well, I mean, it's cool that, you know, Eva Marie's getting this opportunity once again to try to show us that she is taking this very seriously. So I appreciate the effort on her end. I appreciate the effort on NXT to at least try to do something with her. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I'm glad. I think that they need to being more serious with her, and happy to see this.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they sent her down to NXT, and they're actually letting us see what she supposedly did, and unlike Cameron, who supposedly went to NXT for a cup of coffee and was already on the main roster, and then subsequently not heard from again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you know who they need to send somewhere? They need to send William Regal to the Star campaign because he's bullying Bull Dempsey every week.
Well, I mean, it is funny though. He's trying to get money. He's trying to get the food out of the vending machine, and it ate his money.
I guess so. The guy has an eating disorder.
We've all had that happen before.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I have.
An eating disorder or a vending machine?
Both.
The vending machine?
Can it be both? Oh, love it.
Yeah, those skits are fine. I hope it leads to something. I hope it leads to something. Yeah, I don't think it's going to lead to anything like groundbreakingly amazing, but I think it's going to. It's good comedy. I think it's kind of allowing Bull to kind of show a little bit of personality, and maybe William Regal kind of take under his wing, and it could be leading to a bunch of different areas. But I think I like seeing a little bit of Bull Dempsey. I think he's getting a little more comfortable each week as we see these little skits.
What do you think, Paul?
I think it's fine for now. We don't need another Bastion Booger,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it's about showing personality. Who knows where you go from here with that? I mean, I don't know that. I mean, NXT is different than WWE, so who knows? They could go into some kind of complex thing with this, but whatever. Chad Gable came up with a Garyism. Something that I know Gary probably was dying to use as a joke. That he is ready, willing, and Gable to help out Jason Jordan. And Jason Jordan just tells him to shut up before he even says the joke, which is... I love the fact that he just has a towel with his last name on it. Who does that? Just this guy. They've been building this up, so I'm totally fine with it. At least he's doing better than his former partner, who's just getting squashed by Tyler Breeze. So, but at least we find out he's a perfect 10. So, that's something. What do you think, Gary? I hear you chuckling.
I think it's funny. This whole thing is hilarious. It's fun. It really is, and the whole Gable thing, I think it's working. I'm looking forward to actually seeing when they finally do tag up, though. It's getting kind of where I'm like, okay, just do it for God's sakes.
I think they were kind of hinting that's next week.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. I don't know. I didn't really, I guess, pay attention to that part, but, it needs to happen.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I'm down for it. I think I like storyline progression. I think NXT does a really good job of kind of giving you a taste each week and actually having storylines progress and getting towards a goal. And hopefully next week we get to see Gable and Jordan go at it as partners. And I'm guessing anyway, they'll probably win, and that will continue Jason will hate himself for it, but he'll kind of be like, we're winning though, it's okay, so I can hate you, we're winning, so it's okay.
Fair enough. I think it probably a little bit some of this has to play out or whatever, but Tyler Breeze, you guys see anything really left for him to do? I guess he could get in a feud with Rhino or Samoa Joe or something, but... Well, Rhino's a heel now, so I guess only Samoa Joe, but...
Number one contender to Finn after he wins the belt is a thing that could happen. They're losing top-tier talent with Kevin Owens getting promoted and Sami Zayn getting hurt. It opens up a spot for and Hideo Itami getting hurt too. Forgot about that. And it opens a spot for Tyler Breeze at the top of the card if they want to go that way.
Yep, and it needs to go that way. It really does, and that's the only thing I think really left for Breeze to really accomplish right now is getting the NXT title. Now, will it be right away? No, it'll still take time, but he does need to get that title. And if he doesn't, they do need to move him up. It's not fair. I've said to him, for me personally, it's not fair. I feel like this guy is talented. I don't want them to turning him into the next Fandango, so I'm okay with him staying as long as they are using him well, but I think he's running out of things to do.
I just can't, like, with Fandango, you know, you could kind of feel in NXT that there wasn't a lot for him to go. But every time I look at Tyler Breeze, he just strikes me as the early days of single Shawn Michaels. Like, there's no way that maybe his gimmick has to get toned down a little bit or whatever. I mean, and he has done it. He has toned down that gimmick a lot. I just don't see him failing like that. I don't see them turning it into... I just don't think Triple H... This is one of those times where I think Triple H steps in and just says, hey, look, you know, he's better than that. You can't turn it into a comedy thing. Just, you know, he's too good in ring and all that for the comedy.
Yeah.
So speaking of, I think you were talking about character progression. We get some of that here with Dana Brooke and Emma in Sasha Banks' locker room, apparently, because the NXT Women's title is just hanging on a locker. And Emma kind of looks at it. They touch the front of it, and then Sasha Banks kind of comes in, and, you know, she's like, I'm the boss, and Dana and Emma are kind of like, well, we're coming to take over the division, both of us, and Sasha's like, well, I'll take both of you on, and I guess Emma's not heel enough. She wants Sasha to have a partner instead. Well, you know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who that partner is. But Sasha faced Sasha Banks already. We didn't have this is sort of, the crowd did this, and I'm fine with it, but this is sort of unlike NXT. Normally we get some kind of character or reason why this person is turning or whatever. Kind of weird to just pull a Vince and, hey, she's a face now. Hope you guys forgot that she was a heel not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also got the main event with Finn and Samoa Joe against Rhino and Kevin Owens. The bulk of this match is really just the fact that Owens keeps bringing in his John Cena feud into NXT, and he does Cena's 5 Moves of Doom, which is awesome because it's like so Kevin Owens, and we get a little bit of Joe here. A little bit of Rhino causes Rhino accidentally gores Owens, which causes Finn to basically do his comeback, and then he also gets a dropkick Rhino into Owens too, and then he does the coup de grace for the win. So Finn and Samoa Joe win to end the show. But what do you guys think of this here?
I thought it was good. I think it progresses yet again the storyline between Finn and Owens, and with Finn pinning Owens at the end to kind of, you know, puts a stamp on it and gives Owens a reason to be pissed off going into Tokyo that he got pinned for the first time in NXT, and kind of, you know, I'm not sure what it does with Rhino, but because if, you know, if for some reason Finn wins the NXT Championship, does that mean Rhino is the number one contender because he's beat up Finn a bunch of times, and or is Samoa Joe on that? Like, I guess there's kind of a cluster on that, but that'll get figured out eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough figuring out the top of the card right now with all the injuries that sort of happen real fast, and we're still getting through tapings and all this other stuff. This main event match is fine. It's nothing overly special, but it is fun for what it's worth. And the Sasha face turn, I'm okay with it. It feels natural if this is what the crowd did. And NXT is striking on it a lot faster than WWE would have as far as main roster stuff goes. So,
Yeah. You know what? You guys make a lot of great points. One thing I wanted to kind of point out is it's interesting, leading into this next big show that they're going to do. It's kind of funny. Finn's the guy that goes over here. It makes sense, and then it doesn't, because usually, if a guy is going to win a big match, a lot of times they'll kind of either 50-50 book it where the guy with the belt wins, and then at the pay-per-view, the other opponent wins. So they didn't really do that. Finn went over here. I'm just kind of curious what that means, if that means anything at all, So.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have that same logic, because if we do, that means Kevin Owens is winning. And that really just wouldn't make sense. He's on the main roster. Just what's the point of him still walking around with an NXT title?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you could really just have him lose that title and then win another one in a couple weeks. I mean,
I really don't think it has anything to do with it. This is NXT. I think it'll be okay. I think we still get a chance to see Finn with some gold. So
I hope so.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is NXT. Now, I know I tried to do it earlier. We are actually going to do it now. We are actually going to talk about, WWE's trip over to Japan, and they are going to be doing, this big trip. And I know everybody's looking forward to it. So we're going to run down the card for the Beast in the East. And I guess we should go ahead and start with everybody's most excited match. I know everybody's looking forward to it. It'll probably be the only 5-star match on the card. Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. Probably the guy who's going to win, Kofi Kingston. That's all sarcastic. I know. Sorry. I just had to do that. Let's go ahead and, go to this. Chris, who's your winner for this match?
For Lesnar Kingston, you mean? Yeah, I would
yes.
say, Lesnar, but I'm kind of curious, since this does seem such a weird mismatch, that this could be some sort of an angle. Because the New Day has kind of helped out the Authority before, so maybe this has kind of turned into a, Authority coming down and, helping Kofi get the win or something like that, something weird like that, and, furthering Brock Lesnar's anger, which no one wants to see, because he'll tear people in half.
He'll F5 a Cadillac.
He'll F5 a Cadillac, and that's, no one wants to see that. Well, people want to see it, but it'll be violent.
Yeah. Clearly Brock Lesnar's going to win here. I'm really hopeful we get clean finishes throughout the night, just because it is Japan, and they are not going to be giant fans of some dickery endings. I am interested to see if this is even going to be, if this is going to last longer than 5 minutes. I'd really like to see these two try to work a match together. I think it could be a very interesting style differential.
I agree with you, but the joke that I've made several times is that this is like Godzilla being let loose in Japan, and you want to see the dragon, or the kaiju, or whatever the hell. So that's what you're going to get for 5 minutes. Brock just throwing Kofi around. Maybe the whole New Day come out and he just throws Big E around, which I'm sure that would be a sight. And, so why not? I just don't see them wasting. If it goes like 10 minutes, I just don't see them doing a big old, Brock Lesnar classic on a glorified house show.
Mm-hmm. I think New Day gets involved for sure, and I think at the end of the day, it may only be 5 minutes for the match, but at the end of the day, New Day is going to be laying out, and Brock Lesnar is going to look strong, like always. So, let's move on to Cesaro and, of course, Diego, which, just Diego by himself. I kind of wish that we would get a chance to see my little buddy with him, but I guess not. So, what do you guys think about this match?
You guys keep talking about Balor and Owens being a 5-star match. How about this one? Huh?
This could be good, actually.
Yeah. I wasn't being serious. Sorry, but yeah, it could be. I don't think. I just don't think. It's a house show. I don't think it's gonna be. I think Cesaro's gonna go over kind of handily. I'd say 5 minutes, maybe less, but that's just what I think. I think it's gonna be pretty 1, 2, 3 kind of match, pretty average.
Yeah, we talk about we talk about the previous match being one-sided. This could be really one-sided too. Granted, this is all coming out of Tyson Kidd's injury and all that good stuff too. So, either way, this could be a great opportunity to make Cesaro look strong and dominant, and a chance that he won't always have in the next coming weeks, months, however long it's going to take for them to decide to do something with him. So, Cesaro to get the nice, easy win here.
I equate this to possibly like one of those when you had the veteran against young lion matches or whatever, where you don't know what you're going to get, quite possibly. You can either get something really good or something kind of just eh. And we know Cesaro doesn't squash people. Cesaro has good matches with people, and he's a good wrestler by himself. I mean, he's the one that's primo, right? So, I mean, he's not a bad wrestler by any stretch. So I think we could possibly just get. I mean, they could easily end in 5 minutes, or it could go 10 or 15 and be something you sort of remember when the night's over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope it's a good match. I really do hope that El Torito does make the trip. If you're gonna have any of the guys from Diego especially, you need to have El Torito out there. Well, let's talk about the tag team match of the New Day. They're going to face off against the Lucha Dragons, and of course, New Day's going to entail Xavier Woods and Big E. So, what do you guys think about this one? Is this going to be a classic, or is it just going to be another tag team match?
No, I mean, I would say it's going to be a regular tag team match. I think the Lucha Dragons. I mean, they're both really good tag teams, so I mean, it could turn out to be a really good match, but. I would consider it, since it's kind of just a house show thing, and I think all the focus is pretty much going to be on the couple of big matches that there are. I think all the rest of them are just kind of going to be there to show off some moves and show off a little bit of talent, and I think it's going to be a solid match. But I'm gonna say the Lucha Dragons go over in this one.
I'm with you on this one. I think the Lucha Dragons go over. I'm actually really looking forward to this match, though. The Lucha Dragons, they're fun, they're high-flying, and all that good stuff. This match still feels fresh, which is another bonus, and I love the New Day's work. So this should be fun all the way around with the Lucha Dragons getting the big victory, I think.
Yeah, I think same thing here. The match doesn't mean anything, so Lucha Dragons could easily win. And hopefully it's fun. Hopefully they get some time. That's all I pretty much got to say.
Lucha Dragons, and to me, it's a fun team. I think that's going to be the way it's going to be. Moving on, Nikki Bella versus Paige versus Tamina. What do you guys think about this one? Is this going to be a solid match? I mean, you got three pretty decent wrestlers in the group.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a solid Divas match. They'll probably give them like 7 or 8 minutes. I'm gonna say Paige comes out with the win. I say Paige comes out with the win, but I think it's gonna be a solid match. I think Nikki's been improving in the ring a lot, and Tamina. I mean, I haven't really watched a lot of her work, but I mean, as long as she doesn't try anything, out of her ordinary or out of her league, I think she'll be fine. And we all know what Paige can do, so I think it can be a good match.
I don't know if we do a Divas title change here or not. I think it'd be cool. I don't think it happens, though. I think Nikki retains here. But this should be fun, I think. And if anything, there's going to be lots of kicks, because Paige and Tamina love to throw those boots. So.
Yeah, those. Oh, is it for the Divas title?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry I didn't mention that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even listening. Damn, that changed it then. I think Nikki wins then. Sorry. I didn't hear the part it was for the title.
Oh, I didn't mention it. It's my bad.
It's okay. It's all right. I should have done that already.
If my idea doesn't happen, which probably won't, I'm not going to sit there and wait on bated breath for that. It should be a good match. This is all really going to depend on how many of these guys and girls are they going to go out there and actually wrestle a sort of Japanese style match, or are we going to get forcing WWE style down your throat kind of thing? I mean, because, you know, you could have Paige and Naomi go at it here, and then also Nikki, and kind of be an interesting thing. So, who knows? Let's hold out hope here.
Yeah. I don't know if my card's old. What does my card say Tamina for some reason? That's what I said.
Tamina's probably going to be there with Naomi.
Okay. Yeah, Nikki's going to win this. I just don't imagine they're going to change things. I just don't. But who knows? I mean, maybe we get surprised. I don't think we're going to have a title change, just not here. Let's move on, though. We got another match coming up. It's Chris Jericho. Yeah, that's right. Chris Jericho against Neville. So this will be a fun match to watch. I'm really looking forward to this one. What about you, Chris? You think this could be a good match?
Yeah, this should be a really good match. This is one of the other matches I'm looking forward to, other than the other two. I haven't seen Jericho in a long time, and I love Jericho. I love Neville. I think Neville goes over here because I think Jericho's pretty much around at this point to put over younger talent, and I think that's the right decision.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this as well. Jericho is at that point in the career and knows he's at that point in the career and is at that and loves that he's at that point in his career where he gets to put over these guys. I'm really looking forward to something that goes along the lines of 15 minutes with Neville getting the big win.
I'm excited for this one because, you know, these two, this is Pac coming back to Japan, and this is, Jericho, probably his last match in Japan ever, so, I mean, this could be the show stealer of the entire show, honestly. And we are going to get Finn against Jericho on the show that they're doing in the same venue the night before. So that was supposed to be what we're getting on this show originally, and then they switched it when they did the NXT title match. So that's I'm really looking forward to this match, like the other two guys said.
I agree. We got another tag team match, guys, to talk about. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. They're going to face off against Kane and King Barrett. So, I don't know. This one could either be good or very boring. I don't know which one.
I really hope WWE just goes against the grain and doesn't make this the main event.
Oh, yeah. Chris, what do you think is going to happen here?
This might end up being my bathroom break. I'm not sure. I'm not really interested. It's the faces versus the heels. Like, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's there for the kids. That's pretty much it. Cena's gonna go over on whoever the hell he pins, and probably Kane, and good enough. They'll call it a match, and I'd say it goes less than 10 minutes.
I hope it goes less than 10 minutes, but this isn't going less than 10 minutes.
Oh, God.
Faces to win. Probably whoever's getting the wins, pinning Barrett.
I'm going to be interested to see how many, if at all, any kids have Cena gear on, seeing as this is Japan. And then, if Dolph actually decided to bleach his hair again, because he's been not doing that lately. Other than that, 3 of the guys in there can work, so it might be interesting, but it's not something we haven't seen before, and I cannot imagine it's not going to be anything, something you'd see on Raw.
Yeah. That's my fear. It looks like a match made for Raw, and it's not very interesting. The last match we have on this card, guys, is for the NXT Championship, and that is Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. I think Sean was wondering about John Cena t-shirts. I think the Finn Balor shirts may either equal or overdo. I don't know. We'll see. Probably more Prince Devitt, though. But you know what? I think this is the title change for me personally. I think this is the way to get Kevin Owens just moved on to the main roster. So I've got Finn Balor, but what do you guys think in this match?
I totally agree. I think this is going to be hopefully a match of the year contender. It's going to finally end the story between Owens and Balor. It's going to be, title change is going to happen. That way Owens can move on to the main roster clean, and Balor can represent the NXT colors back down in NXT for a little while. And I think it's just going to send everybody home happy. I hope this better be the main event. I think this should be the main event.
It should be the main event. I hope it's the main event. It's definitely, besides Brock Lesnar being on this card and Jericho Neville, it's pretty much the biggest match on the card as far as repercussions go. Finn's main event in Japan before for New Japan. So I don't know why WWE wouldn't think he could carry the show. We know this is going to be amazing. Both these guys can work extremely well. And you got to do the title change here. Just makes sense. Start a new era of NXT with Finn Balor getting the big win here, and just go from there.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of what Paul said. This should be fantastic. I really hope it gets to deliver, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yep, early. What is, guys? Is it 6:30 in the morning that you start the show?
5:30.
5:30.
My time.
5:30.
Oh, your time. Yeah, my time is 6:30 Central.
No, your time will be
Is it?
4:30, Gary.
Is it 4:30?
Yes, it's 5:30 for Chris and I,
swear.
4:30 for you guys, and 2:30 for you all in the Pacific.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Well, that's really early. So, yes, I will be catching on demand. So, anyway, man, well, I'm looking forward to it. But now, guys, we got to talk about some more wrestling in Japan. That's right, New Japan. So, when we come back, we will be talking Dominion and our thoughts on what's going to happen in that big show. We'll be right back.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All right, Paul.
Alrighty. Well, the first match I have on my list is another three-way tag team match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. The Young Bucks defend against Red Dragon and Roppongi Vice. So we know what we're getting out of this. Flippies, and you guessed it, more flippies.
And
suck it! And lots of suckers.
Oh, we get Gary's suck it meter. That's awesome. Yeah, this should be. The thing is, we've seen these a lot. You should not be surprised if we get a title change, because I think I mentioned on here before that it seems like that's their way of keeping people involved in these matches, is to kind of hot potato the title around. You know what? Roppongi Vice shouldn't have lost it in the first place. So maybe they get it back on this one after a really good 15-minute match. You know what the Young Bucks do. You know what Red Dragon do. So if this is anything but spectacular, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Sean. I want to say Red Dragon. I do, but it's just Roppongi Vice. They deserve it. I'm going that direction.
What do you think, Chris?
I think the same way. Roppongi Vice. I think it's time for Young Bucks to give it up, and I think they're the right. I think RPG is the right ones to give it to them or to take it from them.
I really just want some stability in the junior heavyweight tag team division, so I'm going to say the Young Bucks to retain. I wouldn't be upset if any of the other teams won it. I just want some stability for a while, and I think the Young Bucks are a good team to do that with. So we follow this match up with another tag team match, Bullet Club, consisting of Bad Luck Fale and Yujiro Takahashi taking on Tetsuya Naito and Tomoaki Honma. This should be fine for what it's going to be. One half of the equation is not so entertaining in Fale and Takahashi. The other half is quite entertaining in Naito and Honma.
Your boy,
Naito. I know. Naito, who cares about Honma? It's about Naito.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm sorry. I'm just telling you. I'm just being honest. Let's be honest here. Naito, one-man show, going to take out Fale, who's just terrible. So yeah, I'm going.
I just love how Gary's so definitive on that. He's terrible.
Team Naito.
Chris?
It's Bullet Club. Why not? Sure.
Bullet Club B team actually winning for once.
Yeah.
That has to be like a miracle. Screw you, Gary. It's all about Hanma.
It is.
Hanma Mania happening over here.
Y'all enjoy that. I'm going to go with my Naito.
5 Kakeshi's missed. 2 hit. He wins the match for them. Yeah. Hanma Naito.
I got Hanma Pinfale after 5 Kokeshis for no reason.
Love it.
How do you feel about Hanma, Chris?
I haven't actually followed the guy yet a lot. I'm still pretty new to New Japan. So I'm not really familiar with him yet, but I will.
He's like the
I will keep you posted
of New Japan.
Bright yellow trunks, bangs his head around a lot, just wants to headbutt people, and everybody else wants to have wrestling matches.
Well, I mean, he sounds like a fun time. So
he's wonderful. You'll love him.
Go watch his match for the never open weight with Ishii and with Ishii. It's all kinds of awesome.
I will do.
Currently, my match of the year. Still at this date. So we're gonna move on.
A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. There's nothing I think that's matched that intensity or that drama that Hanma and Ishii created, seemingly out of nowhere in February.
There you go, Chris. So you gotta go watch it now so you can see if you agree with Paul on there.
All right, I'm gonna have to.
It's from the new Beginning in Sendai show.
Okay, all right. I'll post my thoughts in the Facebook group.
Awesome.
All right.
So next match is a singles match. Katsuyori Shibata taking on Kazushi Sakuraba. This is pretty much going to be an open shoot fight. But who you guys got?
I don't know that it's going to match the levels of Suzuki Sakuraba from Wrestle Kingdom, but if it can touch anything near that, I'm all in. I love that match. I mean, I could care less about MMA, and I found myself loving that match. And these two are very kind of similar, too. So this is, and all the lead up to it, it's kind of been if you can do something, I can do it better kind of thing. So I want to see how this plays out in this match. Should be really interesting.
Yeah. Tomato. I got Sakuraba.
Oh, yeah. I got Shibata on this one. Chris?
Once again, I'm new to New Japan. I only pretty much seen the guys that have been on Ring of Honor in the last little while. Sakuraba, just because I like the name Sakuraba. Kind of goes off the tongue nice and easy, so I like that name. Sakuraba.
Well,
it's like how Gary makes picks when he didn't know what was happening.
Exactly. And the reason I didn't pick Shibata is because I think Sakuraba was going to eat him up, Like Shibata bread, you know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah,
my God!
true,
Seriously.
Oh, Gary.
any hardcore New Japan people that they're listening or Japanese wrestling fans thought we just turned it off. Right?
Probably, it's totally my fault. I'll take the bullet for that one.
No, it's mine.
No, it's Gary.
Gary just killed it with a Shibata bread.
It's Gary.
just destroyed it.
Shibata to win. Penalty kick's going to get him the victory here. But this should be really good.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, Chris, he has all kinds of soccer kicks, like the goal kick and the free kick and the.
Gotcha.
Just go down the line.
So now we're going to start. The rest of the card after this is all title matches. It's all title matches. So the first one, IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Kushida, winner of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament this year, is going to cashing in against Kenny Omega. This should be one for the records. This is going to be awesome.
Ooh, man,
What do you
this
think,
is,
Chris?
Yeah, what do you think, Chris?
Yeah, these are guys I know actually. I love Kushida. I love his in-ring work. I think I love everything about the guy. So I'm going with Kushida to retain.
Yeah, Kushida, man, I'm already giving away part of my list for Sunday, but Kushida is one of my favorites to watch in all of New Japan. Just awesome wrestler. He never has a bad match. I don't know how you cannot be entertained by everything he does. And then putting him in there with Kenny Omega, who has gone from somebody I couldn't stand at the beginning to somebody that I really like as a just awesome heel gaijin, and now it's time for, he's been cleaning up everybody. I don't think he's going to clean up Kushida here, and it's going to be Kushida winning Junior Heavyweight title.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Kushida. I just cannot imagine him not winning after the momentum he's on.
Yeah, if it's not Kushida, I don't know who's going to lift the belt off of Omega. So, Kushida to win. This should be really, really good, especially if they give it a lot of time. Hopefully somewhere around the 20-minute mark is what I'm hopeful for, but this should be epic. So we're going to go from high-flying to beat the crap out of each other. Togi Makabe defends the never openweight title against Tomohiro Ishii. Somebody might die. It's possible.
Paul is not joking. It's just these two just clobber each other. I'm surprised we haven't seen someone's eye socket just sitting out or something.
It's happened. Ask Vader.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Man. This should be. I don't know. Their stuff from Hino Kuni was pretty awesome. So they're gonna have to do a lot to try to top that. But I want to see him try. It's gonna be really interesting. Really awesome to watch.
Who do you got winning, Sean?
Oh man, you know what? I think Makabe wins, and this ends the feud finally, because these two have had lots of matches with each other. I can't really see them redoing it again unless they just have them when they meet up in the G1 kind of rekindle it or whatever. But I think Makabe, I don't think he was ever meant to lose that title in the first place, and why have him lose the title when Ishii already had it once? So Makabe should win.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of the way I feel too. I think Makabe is the guy to win here, and to me it just makes the most sense. That's the way I feel about it. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, these are two more guys I'm not sure about. Who's the bigger and badder of the two?
They're both pretty badass.
Yeah. Personal opinion, I think.
Who would who? So all right. Well, I say it's a draw. They both die. They kill each other.
That's fair. That could happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
totally not out of the question.
This is one of those exploding ring matches I know.
Makabe to retain, but these guys, they'll put on a show for you. They'll make you take notice. They'll show you a brawl for the ages, as it were. So yeah. Next match, tag team title match, IWGP tag team titles on the line. The Kingdom, Matt Taven, Michael Bennett defend against the Bullet Club, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson. Both the ladies, Maria with the Kingdom, Amber Gallows with the Bullet Club, will be at ringside. Who do you guys got?
Maria! Just, we're getting a lot of that. I'm assuming we're going to continue the whole Carl Anderson has never seen a woman before, and he's going to go crazy after Maria, and we're going to see how many times that happens in the match.
Well, they nixed that, right? Because he hit the Magic Killer on Maria after they lost that one match on the last show that they did.
Yeah, but he did it on... He continued it in ROH with the...
I don't know how much that's going to matter going into this, but I guess we'll...
True. if they don't, that's great, because in New Japan it just doesn't work for me.
Nah.
It's funny, but then they just overdo it to the point where it's just like, okay. I just, I think that they're trying really hard with trying to get the Kingdom over. I think if they lose the titles, you automatically, it's kind of like what happened with the New Day. I think Kingdom needed titles to kind of be relevant and cared about. So I think Kingdom retain here.
Chris?
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna say. I like the Kingdom a lot. I'm a personal fan of the Kingdom. I love Maria Kanellis. Oof, I love Maria Kanellis. But yeah, I think them retaining makes the most sense, just because I think they're more relevant when they have the belts. So I would say the Kingdom.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think the Kingdom is the team right now to beat. I think that, the Bullet Club winning the belts, it could work, but I just think the Kingdom, they get a lot more life in those, so I'm okay with them winning.
New Japan really needs to rebuild its tag division. The Kingdom is fresh. I feel like they make the better champions for now, but hopefully we get a team very quickly that can come up and lift the belts off them, because I don't think the experiment with them having the belts is working out as well as I think Geto and Jetto want it to, as much as they might like the guys and Maria. And it's probably just mostly Maria.
How do you not like Maria?
Yeah. Next match, Hiroshi Tanahashi is taking on Toru Yano. So maybe Yano gets to keep on cheating to continue this thing, or hopefully Tanahashi puts him away. And we'll get an actual maybe 12, 13-minute match out of this.
Yeah, how much hair pulling is going to be
tights
happening?
And chairs and DVD pimping and...
and turnbuckle removals.
Yes.
Just everything you could think of. This should be fun. I think you kill this here, and I mean, yeah, you could wait till the G1, I guess, to kill it finally, but just put it to bed. Tanahashi should win, and let's see what happens.
As entertaining as it would be to see Yano win, I think Tanahashi's got to be the guy that wins here. I don't know how much longer it can go, like you guys are saying. I feel more comfortable saying Tanahashi.
Chris?
I feel more comfortable saying Tanahashi as well, because that is the one I can pronounce. So I will go with him.
Tanahashi for sure you're going to get the win. This has gone on long enough. It's been fun. We've had some great memories. I'll take Toru Yano laughing at Tanahashi on commentary to my grave. Just some good times. So, co-main event, IWGP Intercontinental title match. Hiroki Goto defends the title against Shinsuke Nakamura. This should be amazing. Strong style in its full definition on display here.
Yep, the first match was awesome. I hope the second match is just as awesome. I hope Goto gets to retain, because the man deserves a run. Nakamura could easily go into the G1 and position himself to be going for the heavyweight title again. I think Goto's the perfect guy to kind of just keep carrying the lineage of that Intercontinental title, what all the great things Nakamura did for it, and he's got plenty of opponents that he could go against. So I'm going to go with my heart here, I guess, and say Goto retains after a fantastic match. What do you think, Chris?
I definitely like Nakamura a lot. Dude's really cool. I've been
Seriously,
following
I
him
want
a
to know
lot.
one person that watches the Nakamura match and doesn't go walking away going, "Holy shit, I love that guy."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who says I just hate
I watched the
Nakamura?
match. Yeah, I watched the match. I was like, yes, he's cool. I would like to say he would win, but after I haven't, unfortunately, like I said, I haven't been following this feud. I'm just getting into New Japan now, so it's like, Nakamura would be cool to win just because that's, I'm a fan and I know the guy. But screw it. Yeah, I'll say Nakamura wins in 15 seconds. It's over with. Done.
Jesus.
Oh, man.
Bell rings, Bomaye to the face, over.
Yeah.
Done.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Japan doesn't get loud, but I think we would hear them get really loud.
Yes.
That's what happens.
You know what? It's a tough call for me, but I think I'm going to Goto here. It's hard for me to go against Nakamura, but I think Goto for me. So
Goto for me as well. Not only am I a ginormous fan of Hiroki Goto, but Nakamura, I believe, will be the one that's winning G1 this year. Him and Styles and him and Okada are both fresher than everything else we've been getting out of the main event scene lately. So I think it's Nakamura's time to make that step back up to the top championship. And speaking of the top championship, that is our main event as AJ Styles defends the IWGP Heavyweight title against Kazuchika Okada. This is going to be amazing, just like their last match was. But who you guys got winning this one?
This was hard because I don't see a reason to take it off AJ right now. I think he's proven himself a draw. I think that this is like the old school booking of there is much more money to be made with Okada chasing AJ right now than it is for Okada just to win it, and then I guess you'd have to do the AJ rematch at some point, and then what do you do? I think it presents a much more interesting thing for the G1 too, for AJ to be walking in as champion and all that. So after hopefully what is a match of the year candidate, we're talking about AJ holding on to the belt here.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. AJ for me as well. I just, as tough as a battle this is going to be, I just don't see him dropping it here. So that's the way it's got to be for me.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, this is one feud I have done some research on, and I have started to follow. I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. I'm starting to be a big fan of Okada. The guy just has a presence about him that's just like, I don't know, it's can't really describe it. It's different than anyone else that I've ever watched, really. But I think AJ keeps it. I totally agree with what Sean said, that it's kind of makes more sense to have Okada chasing AJ than for Okada to win it now. So hopefully that's the way they go. So either way, I'm happy. I'm a big fan of both. So
I think there's a lot of mileage to be get out of Okada constantly getting close to regaining the championship, only to fall short because of either just getting outbeat or outclassed like he did at Wrestle Kingdom this year against Tanahashi, whether it's because the Bullet Club is just too much for him to overcome, like it could be this time against Styles. Whether he makes it to the finals of the G1 only to lose to Nakamura in an amazing match, or whatever else they can think of to keep throwing roadblocks in Okada's way as he continues to chase the title is only going to make more money for New Japan in the long run. So I'm with you guys. I think AJ retains, but this should be really, really good. These guys work obscenely well together. Not to mention they both flow some beautiful drop kicks. So
yeah, I mean, it also goes with Okada's story that he's had since Wrestle Kingdom. If he's like had to start at the bottom and kind of working his way up again and doing all that, working his way through the Bullet Club and the feud that we want to forget against Bad Luck Fale, which felt like it went on forever. So you got to keep him holding on to that for some more.
Well, that's the show.
Yep. There you go, guys. So we are looking forward to talking Dominion, and we'll be doing that this next Sunday night. So that is another special for you guys to enjoy, and we're looking forward to doing
WWE in Japan, and then we'll be doing New Japan.
Yeah,
and their normal thing.
And we're also going to talk about our top New Japan stars. Who do we like? So we'll be talking our top 5. We'll break that down for you guys. So look forward to that. Lots of great stuff. So Sunday night's the place to be if you're listening and wanting to hear some more wrestling discussion. So, All right, guys. Well, we really appreciate Christopher Hale joining us tonight. He stayed up late with us and has been awesome for just being with us so long, man. We really appreciate you being on, buddy.
Oh, no problem, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on. I enjoy talking to wrestling with you guys. I don't have a lot of people I can talk to wrestling about because talking about wrestling with is it's kind of up here in the Green Mountains of Vermont. It's not really a huge thing. So
yeah.
So I mean, luckily I got you guys, so it's all good. And I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, Christopher, man. Well, we'll be catching you on down the road.
All right, absolutely. You guys have a great 4th of July weekend. All right.
You too. Be safe.
You too, buddy.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. That's Christopher Hale. Always great having him on the show. Well, we're going to move on now. It is time for us to talk some Lucha Underground. Haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, so let's go ahead and we'll be right back with Lucha.
I forgot to mention that, Christopher Hale is one of the ones in the group, along with Jeff and a few others that have gone to these NXT on tour shows. I'm going to be going on my own NXT on tour show on July 24th, the same night that everything in frickin' wrestling is happening. They're coming to Miami as a full tour, and I'm going to go, and hopefully I'll get to put some pictures up in the group and all that, and I'll get to talk about it that week that we're having it. So, awesome. Hopefully you guys get to go to one of these times that they come down there.
I would love it.
I hear they're doing Mania around here.
Yeah, that's true. We will all get to go.
I think all of us will be hyped. We'll be wearing our Mojo Rawley shirts and
Hype Bros.
That's right. There you go. See, there you go.
Now we can sort of be hyped for Lucha Underground.
That's right. Right after this.
All right, Lucha Underground. I know this was one of those Lucha Underground. I mean, this is the first Lucha Underground I can remember where I wasn't too enthused by much of what went on the show, which is weird because normally Lucha Underground just delivers every time. So we get Cueto in the office with, the best way to start the show, Chavo Guerrero. Because, apparently he has one more thing that Cueto promised him, even though we never got to see him get protected from Mexico. I still wanted to see how he got protected from an entire country, but that didn't happen. So apparently for giving him Lotus, Chavo Guerrero got a Lucha Underground title match against Puma. And Chavo asked for no DQ, and he gets it. And then he also wants a way to get rid of Conan. So pretty much Cueto says, well, if Conan gets involved in the match, you win. That's a nice way to keep hold of Conan there. So the first match is Daivari with Big Rick out there against Tejano. This goes about 5 minutes. Big Rick kind of grabs Tejano's ankle so that people can boo Daivari, and then kind of get Tejano doing some of his moves. He does the sit-out powerbomb for the win. And, yeah, I don't care about Daivari. I don't care how many times you dress him up. Just don't care. You're wasting whatever that is, scotch or all that you're throwing out into the crowd constantly.
You don't like that? Go ahead, Paul.
It hasn't connected with me either. I like Tejano, but I don't feel like he has enough of a character. I like Daivari. I feel like they haven't done enough to really invest me in his character. So this, as it does for you, Sean, just sort of bounces off for me. Doesn't really strike home.
Tejano's just angry Mexican dude. That's all he is, apparently.
And then, you're right. There's not a whole lot there. It's really kind of hard to just grab onto for both these guys. And sure, I mean, I don't think they're bad. It's just, I think we all are agreeing they need a little bit of something more. So until then, it's just kind of nonchalant.
Yeah, so after this, we also get a vignette backstage with Conan talking to Puma about, well, Chavo's going to lie, cheat, and steal and all this, but he's not a champion. And then Katrina just shows up out of nowhere, because apparently she can just teleport. And, she's like, well, it took everything. It took Puma. It would take Puma everything he has to defeat Mil Muertes if he survives tonight. Then Muertes kind of has a stare down with him, and Conan's just like, I don't care that these people just appeared and disappeared right in front of me. I'm gonna keep talking. Puma, it's all mind games, buddy. All mind games. Yeah, it's all freaking me out. Just watching this. We also have Conan talking to somebody who we don't ever get to find out who it is until when it happens. They do a good job of that. And they talk about, well, it's time for Mexico to deliver on taking out Chavo. So we also get Drago and Hernandez, which doesn't last very long because Hernandez basically hangs Drago over the ropes with a belt, and then he also hits him with the belt and stuff like that, and then he cuts a promo saying the dragons are not real. Well,
boo!
Screw you, Hernandez.
This is ridiculous in a way because I'm thinking to myself, okay, Hernandez is big and bad, but I mean, my God, I thought, Drago was supposed to be this powerful, mystical creature, and here we are now. He's getting beat down, and hey, basically, he's getting called out for not being real. So,
You know what happened? We didn't have a backstage segment with him in the bathroom. That's what happened. That's why he lost.
Gosh darn it! That's all it takes.
It's just...
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad. I really like Drago. I like him a lot, and it's just kind of like with him right now. And I don't know. Hernandez is great and all, but I've never been a big Hernandez person, so it's hard for me to not be biased.
I like Hernandez just fine. This match wasn't anything special. I don't think it's merely meant to be anything special. Sort of just a sort of running along the storyline or the story that they started whenever Hernandez attacked Drago last week. So,
Katrina, because she's fair to everyone, she goes in and teleports in front of Chavo, and tells him, well, just letting you know, you're gonna be dead if you beat Puma tonight. So, because Mil Muertes is gonna destroy whoever holds the title. Chavo's like, well, I'll see you at Ultima Lucha. I'm sure we all had the same face that Muertes had after he said that. Just not happy at all. Patron comes out to squash Marty the Moth. Then he cuts a really impassioned promo afterwards, which is really good. Might have been one of the better things on the show, actually. That he's just going to totally rip Mundo to shreds, pretty much, in their match at Ultima Lucha. And we also get they waited till like the last 10 minutes of the show because they knew this wasn't going very long. This was, lots of, the crew was there. We find out Tejano's the guy that is going to be, it also ended really quickly because Chavo also injured his leg here for real. Which then he does a frog splash stupidly, which doesn't help your leg at all. But yeah, Puma wins. Tejano, I guess, is now going to get involved in this for some reason because I guess he's going to be the Mexico guy. He's going to be representing Mexico, beating him. Then Chavo is backstage with Blue Demon Jr. because we're not done with this. Chavo wonders if Tejano's doing all of Demon's beating. I can't talk today. He's doing all of Demon's dirty work for him, and maybe he teases him that maybe Tejano's really Mexico and not him. And Demon just slams him into the locker and it's like, I am Mexico. Okay. Sure. We care so much about that. But, hey, it's at least he's not, like, arguing about the face of Lucha Underground or something. So. Alright. There's your Lucha Underground. But what'd you guys think of, these last 3 segments here?
There's a very large part of me that wants Blue Demon Jr. to be in charge of like some old man luchador mafia that comes in just to beat up Chavo.
What? Yeah.
Just canes and walkers and old
mafia,
people everywhere.
But, we'll be the $1 Million Club again.
60-year-olds beating up Chavo. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Welcome to the nursing home.
Maybe Chavo Classic can show up to beat up Chavo too.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
You gotta love it. Yeah, gotta love it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the one thing I was left thinking here is, okay, do I really care? What am I supposed to be feeling here?
It's like we know these guys aren't going to have a good match, so it's just like, I just want to just have Demon beat the crap out of Chavo and be done with it, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you. So, yeah, and I guess like you said, Sean, not at the best Lucha Underground, you know. But hopefully next week it'll be better. Until then, and we'll have to wait and see. But one thing we have left to talk about for sure is some TNA. We had a big pay-per-view from TNA, Slammiversary, and we also had the latest episode of Impact. So we're going to kind of bundle them up in one segment coming up next. So stick around for that, and let's do it, guys. Let's talk some TNA.
TNA Impact Wrestling.
Should reiterate that even if you didn't catch it during Quick Hits or something, ROH was a repeat of War of the World, parts of matches of the War of the Worlds Night 1. So you can find that if you want. There was kind of no need to spend time on the show talking about matches that were part of something else.
Yeah.
When we had a lot to already talk about on the show as it was. So,
for sure.
Just in case those wondering why we didn't do ROH this week.
Exactly.
And next week we might not either because they're doing matches from the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like.
So, you know, we'll update you guys. You know, we'll keep you updated on ROH. If we think we need to talk about it, we'll talk about it.
Well, we didn't talk about this when we did the pay-per-view, even though we haven't heard much more about it, and even though one of them is a guy that we know WWE is going to grab as soon as he's a free agent. But 2 of them are interesting because one of them WWE used to be high on a lot, and then they kind of never talked about him again. And then you've got the guy that's your champion right now, WWE, apparently right after the pay-per-view, which says a lot. No idea if that's really true or not. But apparently they're interested in Jay Lethal, Adam Cole, and Moose. What do you guys think? I mean, if you're Jay Lethal and WWE comes calling, what are you doing right
now? There's a very large part of me that says I would be selfish and say with ROH, but if they're offering me money, I'm thinking about it. It's the one place Jay Lethal really hasn't gone yet, too. So, I think he could make it work. Adam Cole's another guy who I could see fitting into. And I mean, you bring it up all the time, but Moose has to be on their radar 24/7. So I mean, I think all 3 guys would work. If I was Moose, I wouldn't sign just yet. If I was Jay Lethal, and I was Jay Lethal, I don't think I'd leave because there's a lot to be done once TNA dies, and I think ROH could definitely make up some ground and become a much larger promotion in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I with these 3 guys, I feel like you could create a brand around them, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You really could, and I think they've kind of built their name up well enough to do that. And Moose is growing; he's kind of evolving. And if there's anybody that I think that really could go and not be affected too much, will affect ROH or affect their own career, and that's probably Moose. I think Moose is still young. They could teach him the way they want to teach him, get him involved in NXT, get him used to WWE style, whereas Jay Lethal, Adam Cole, these guys are all, set in their ways and they can learn, but, they've got their own ways of doing things already, so it's a little bit more different story. But, needless to say, I think all three could do quality work in WWE, but I kind of hope for ROH's sake that doesn't happen, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I kind of want to see ROH get to keep some of their guys. I mean, we always saw them keep the Briscoes, but they've been around, pretty much forever to be able to keep, some guys, that are kind of the leaders of this generation for them. It'd be really good because they need to keep a core kind of in stock. If they lose these guys, it's pretty much, once again, you're having to give things to Dave Briscoe to kind of hold down the fort. And, do you really want to do that again?
Yeah, fair enough. So, all right, guys. Well, enough ROH talk, I guess. We probably should talk about some Slammiversary. I know there's probably several people that are listening to us now that have watched it, and probably a lot more that didn't. So, we're going to fill you guys in on what happened at Slammiversary, if you watched it or not. Let's go and start with the first match here, though, guys. Let's talk about the TNA X Division title match. That included DJ Zima Ion, we had Manic, and of course Tigre Uno. So these guys went to battle. Zima Ion was kind of the first one out, but guess what? We got down to a match between Manic and Tigre Uno, and in the end, Uno comes out victorious and retains his X Division title. What were your thoughts?
First of all, I was happy that Tigre Uno just retained. I really like him. I think he's very talented inside the ropes and is a perfect guy to lead the X Division. But this match, I don't think was anything incredibly special. I mean, it was a good opener. I felt like it got the show off to a good start, but I don't think it was anything that, we're going to be talking about coming into the year time or anything like that. And it's not like it needed to be, but,
Yeah. This was here. I appreciated that it didn't feel like them just doing a bunch of spots. They tried to kind of make it sort of feel like there was some cohesion to it. I like the fact that we had elimination instead of just the triple threat standard X Division thing. Tigre Uno retains, as he should. Even though this was this was an impromptu match pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, but just like Paul said, it's not anything you're going to be really thinking about afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, props to Uno for retaining the title. That's what I was happy about. And we're not going to talk about some of these promos that were all the different vignette videos and all that. We're going to kind of skip through those because they really weren't that valuable or important to what's going to happen. But I will say this: Jeremy Borash kind of sounded like he was almost like a retirement at first at the beginning of this pay-per-view. Thankful for all the years, thankful for all the different people, blah blah blah, all the sponsors in Australia, everywhere else. And
well, to be fair, they probably aren't running another pay-per-view again, so I guess it would kind of be the goodbye to pay-per-view.
It's just kind of sad,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I will say this: the commentary team was immediately much better with Mike Tenay on it.
Oh yeah, A+.
I wish Josh Matthews could have been somehow sent somewhere, but the Pope. Seriously, the Pope, Booker T has to be better than the Pope. Some of the stuff the Pope says is just like, my God, what are you watching the same match everybody else is watching? Like, I swear, I think like his job is to be JBL. Like just say the most dumb thing.
And how angry do you think that Josh Matthews was that he had to sit near Mike Tenay and share the same booth?
And I just can't stand that Josh Matthews being a heel announcer is just stupid.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it matches his real life persona.
Yeah, probably.
So, let's talk about Robbie E versus Jesse Goddard, and these two former tag team mates. Oh man,
Let's not talk about this. Can we?
Okay. This one hurt.
I know, but
this one hurt a lot.
Robbie E, I thought he was gonna die. Like, seriously, Jesse, I mean, you're a strong guy. You can't lift Robbie E above your head? Like, come on, dude. About 3 times he tried for a powerbomb. Every time I thought he was gonna die. Like, seriously, just... Ugh. This felt like it took forever to go absolutely nowhere. The crowd didn't give, as Larry would say, crowd gave no fucks. And just, yeah. Just, I'm sorry. They tried. I'll give them credit for trying. But, yeah.
Yeah. You got Robbie E being victorious, though, Paul. So, anything out of this?
It was everything Sean said. It was slow. This hurt to watch at times. Not just because of the painful moves, but just there's not some... It wasn't pretty. This was not pretty wrestling.
That goes along with Jesse's terrible promo at the beginning. Just horrible. It's like he completely forgot what he is supposed to say, and he's just going around, oh yeah, you guys are triple digits. Well, do you know something, Jesse? You're a triple digit weight too. Like, do you weigh like 60 pounds? I mean, I don't know. You tell me, man. Just...
yeah, you guys are right. That's just
certainly doesn't think on his feet, that Jesse.
Well, maybe we'll get to this next match and it'll be better. Let's talk about the street fight. Bram and Matt Morgan. What were y'all's thoughts on this one? Because this one was, it had a lot of course, the hardcore stuff involved, and a lot of times that gets kind of old. Nothing much. It's kind of the same way this.
Not good.
Bram was made to look so bad. He's walking around in no weapon, whatever the hell it is he's looking for. Just how bad does that look? Like, Matt Morgan, of all people, is having to lay down and sell for you for like what seems like forever. This is not a guy that's supposed to be doing that. Yeah, just...
It's like the least street fight we've ever seen.
And that's for Bram. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because they knew they were going to have another hardcore match later and whatever, but it's just weird.
That's some weak tea, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to help Bram out. I hate to hate on the guy. Like, one of the few guys in TNA I like.
I like Bram too, man, but this just sucked. There's no getting around it.
It sucked.
Terrible. All right, well, then we'll move on since that was so awful, and we will talk about Austin Aries and Davey Richards. They face off, and this is for the stipulation for their next match. And who gets to choose the stipulation?
The match already happened already, by the way.
Yeah, it did. We'll talk about that. But in the long run, we get a match, and of course, it takes same thing we always expect. Somebody running out, Bobby Roode runs out, kind of to help distract. And Austin Aries gets the roll-up win, and of course, they get to choose a stipulation, which I am so excited. We're going to get a bra and panties match between these two tag teams. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right, is it?
But Hope almost thought we were.
I know. I was kind of, this is going to be awkward. But anyway, the point about it is I don't know. For me personally, this was whatever. It was okay.
This was really good, the best match on the show, but my
think
God,
so?
distraction effing roll-up. Why? Of all the freaking finishes we could have done on this show, just that one. Just that one. And it took away from the match for me. Like, it was unnecessary. I get it that they're the dirty heels and whatever, but yeah. I thought this was really good.
I like the match, don't get me wrong, but to me personally, when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, it's not a whole lot that I haven't seen before. So it didn't blow me out of the water.
No, but this is still the best match we get on this show. And it's still good. It's still pretty good.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's kind of neat the way they did, kind of joke around at the end and all that. And, I mean, without being a tag team match, I mean, you got to say that both those guys did put in a lot of hard work, so.
Well, I mean, these two know each other, so.
Very well, and I don't know. I just think that, I guess you're right. This is the best one out of all the other matches, because really, do we have much to look forward to? Because, like, we got this handicap match against Awesome Kong, and, of course, Brooke Tessmacher, and, of course, the Dollhouse. So,
well, she's not Tessmacher anymore. She's just Brooke.
Oh, Brooke. That's right. Brooke. What did they become WWE and decided one name?
No, I think it's like, I forgot what it was, why. There was a reason, I think, that she's not Tessmacher anymore. I can't remember exactly why.
Oh, fair enough. So, but anyway, the Dollhouse, of course, they get to enjoy the numbers game. But, I mean, I don't know. What did you guys feel about this? I mean, this is, of course, one of Awesome Kong and Sharon Terrell's last match. So what did you think it was worth?
I thought the match was fine for what it was. It was very much a storyline match that was meant to move it along, and it did just that. So, it's nothing exciting, but it does do its job, and you can't fault it for that, because there's a lot of stuff on the show that did not do its job, as we've already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special, but it was fine for what it was. It's inoffensive. Brooke gets a new Butter Face Maker. It's the name of her. What? Like, seriously.
I laughed. I thought it was funny.
Fine. Just. I mean, I guess now that, Velvet's doing the stunner, somebody else can do the in your face. So, that's. I mean, Taryn does what she does, which is, bark orders at the Dollhouse. So, it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. It is, I guess, I just, once again, that not a whole lot, it was everything I expected. Let's just be honest. I thought Awesome Kong was going to take care of business, and they did. She did, and Brooke did, so, well, let's talk about the next match here. We got James Storm versus Magnus. Now, this is, supposed to be a bitter rivalry, and we know that James Storm is amazing. Okay, whatever. Anyway, what did you think about it? James Storm does win, by the way, which I know everybody was stoked about.
Oh, yeah, because that makes total sense,
Yep.
Oh, this isn't a pay-per-view or anything. You don't want to, blow off this feud somehow. I mean, they kind of save it a little bit on Impact, but it's just at the time, we didn't know they were going to try to find a weird way to continue it, so... I mean, we kind of did. Whatever, but still, if you're only watching this pay-per-view, it's a bit weird. The stuff with the concession stand, cool. It makes TNA look terrible. That's your concession stand, by the way. This big company has such a indie kind of concession stand. There's apparently high voltage in the area. And it's supposed to be James Storm's fault that we have terrible commentary issues for a lot of the show after this. This is one of those that they really tried to make feel epic that wound up not being anywhere near that. Not to mention you went to the back twice. The crowd had no idea what the hell was going on because they couldn't use the video screen to tell people what was going on. Then you get the dumb finish with the beer bottles and James Storm just falling on top of Magnus, and it's like, oh, come on now. I mean, I'll give them credit. They tried. I don't know about Storm pulling out the frickin' Mr. Fuji must have been proud with the powder and all that stuff, but yeah, I'm just... we even had to blind Earl Hebner. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great match. And James Storm has been a part of some of TNA's best matches, as much as it pains me to say so. But this certainly, they tried to make it one of those, and it wasn't happening.
Yeah, fell flat on its face for sure. So.
Do you think that blood would have worked here? We've seen James Storm bleed in these kinds of matches before.
I don't know if it would have worked so much here. I would have been okay with it. But I don't know if it was really... I mean, it would have been warranted. Obviously, Storm. However, they're trying to explain whatever happened to Mickey. he did that to her. Whether it was attempted murder or just
see,
assault.
That's the thing.
If it was more clearer, I would probably have a more definitive opinion about whether there should have blood in this or not.
Exactly, I agree. That's what kind of was missing. Was this didn't feel like Magnus really being upset at James Storm. Maybe it's because, both of them were leaving the company and they're friends and whatever, and, but it never felt like, I'm pissed because you almost killed my wife and you made me think that you were killing my baby and all this stuff. It's like, nope, we're kind of mad, but not really.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the way I felt as well. I was thinking to myself, okay, this is kind of light-hearted for a bitter feud. I don't know. It just didn't have the intensity I expected. I expected a lot of aggression,
Considering this is the only one that kind of had a storyline on this pay-per-view all the way through, you would have thought.
You for sure would have thought that. So, who's to know? But, we do have another match on this card that is kind of interesting as well. We have EC3 and Tyrus. Well, yes, Tyrus actually gets in the ring, people. He actually does something. Versus Mr. Anderson and Bobby Lashley. But, the way it works, in the end, EC3 does get the pin and does win this match. So, what do you guys think about this one?
Yep. Sean nailed it.
Yep.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Just
see, I was kind of hoping you guys would have something because I had nothing for it, But
Sean nailed it.
We all said it. Nothing.
Sean nailed it already.
So yeah, I love that.
I mean, EC3, the right guy won. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
At least they didn't screw that up. Maybe have him not be undefeated when he faces Angle on Wednesday or something.
Yeah. Well, guys, we had the King of the Mountain. We had Drew Galloway. We had Eric Young. We had Matt Hardy. We also had Bobby Roode and Jeff Jarrett all in this match.
I just want to know who was on crack when they made this idea for this match. Seriously, this is stupid.
I actually think this is a Jarrett idea.
Jarrett? Seriously, man. What was wrong with just having the belt hanging from the top, and you can have all the other crap you want, just grab the belt instead of putting the belt on the hanger just to come take it off 2 seconds later? How dumb is that? I don't know. And not to mention it's an old title. It's your Legends and TV title and your whatever title. So yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so, if the storyline they're going through with this, I don't care that they took the old TV title to GFW. If I'm a TNA fan, why do I care about them taking this title that has been dormant forever to GFW? Does anybody, do you guys care about that?
Not really. But trying to get me to care about TNA right now is pretty difficult, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And not only that, I mean, GFW's not even taped, so when are we going to get to see it? When he goes on TNA, of course.
At the end of on the 24th, when all the other stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Well, we won't see it then. They're taping it then. This was actually not that bad. They had some good. Matt Hardy and Drew Galloway kind of carried this, really. Or at least they're the ones trying to do spots. Eric Young almost killed Jeff Jarrett with the pile driver on the ladder bridge thing. I seriously thought he was going to drop to the floor. Jarrett really looked old. I'll say that. He was in the penalty box for what seemed like forever because they just kept putting him in there because he's old. And here's one thing. The story that they were putting in here was told well. They were trying to keep Jarrett from winning because he's the outsider. He's not TNA guy, whatever. I mean, Karen Jarrett, just why are you there other than you had to wear that sparkly thing because you had to be on TV, I guess. Just massaging your man's arm the entire time he's in the penalty box, that really does it for somebody. Just saying. Jarrett won. We kind of knew Jarrett was going to win, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not a lot to it, is it? And so, I mean, there you go, guys. That is Slammiversary. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm very interested in this part from you guys. What did you rate this pay-per-view?
There's some good wrestling on this show. There really is. We might bag on this show a lot because there is some bad stuff on here too. But there's some good wrestling on here. The opener for the X Division title's good. Aries and Richards, yeah, was quite good. And the main event was fine for what it's worth. I think I'm gonna give the show 5.5.
I'm going to go with a 5.
Yep, I'm right there with you, Sean. 5 for me as well. Just right there. If it wasn't had a few good matches, wrestling-wise at least, it would definitely be lower for sure. But they did. All these guys worked hard. Now there were some matches where I kind of felt like, this is our last match. Let's don't do anything really. So, but anyway. That is Slammiversary, everybody. Slammiversary 2015, of course. But now we have to go on. And Sean, I guess you can lead us down that journey of Impact.
All right, this was the bell-to-bell Impact, where they, having a bunch of title matches and making it be all about wrestling, supposedly. So we start off with BDC and the Rising, and the losing team must disband. Okay, here's the thing. If you have BDC come out first, and they have all this pizzazz to them, everybody has masks on, everybody's unified, they have frickin' flags that say the BDC, that they stick in the ground to making their entrance. I mean, who's winning this match when the Rising come out, and the only thing that's matching about those guys is that they sort of have the sort of same matching colored tights. Okay. And Micah's was special because he looked like a bumblebee out there. This was okay. I could kind of tell that they were going to have the whole Drew Galloway against the world kind of thing. I don't think that the crowd cared too much about it. And honestly, this feud's really felt like an afterthought.
Yep.
For the most part. I felt like whatever Drew Galloway's message got lost after about like the third week, and it just kind of felt like factions fighting. It's TNA. It's what we do. BDC win, and yeah. So, and now they're gonna go celebrate with Loki in the hospital because he has a separated something.
Separated from TNA. That's what he's got. I'm with you though. This match it never grabbed me because this feud hasn't been particularly interesting. There have been times where it really felt like the Rising didn't have a shot in hell. So, I mean, I'd hate to say that I'm sad that the Rising is broken up, but not really. I mean, any chance for Drew Galloway to succeed on his own is what I'm after, and this is definitely a great time to try to go somewhere with that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm glad Drew Galloway dropped it at dead weight. So it at least makes me feel better about him getting to do his own thing now. And, at least the faction that had more interesting chemistry, more, just more about them. You felt more from them. I'm okay with that.
What did you guys think of the Mickey James and James Storm, Magnus Koya segment?
It was okay. Once again, nothing that really sets the world on fire, nothing that really grabbed my attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I mean, and it's cool we get to see Crazy Mickey back. So, see if it leads to anything. We know Serena Deeb's going to show up here pretty soon, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And then we get this, what is the highlight of the show? Well, one of the highlights of the show. 30-minute Iron Man match with for the tag team titles. The fifth match of the best of 5 series. Wolves and Aries and Rude. They keep it 0-0 to like the last 5 minutes. The Wolves get the fall at like 4 minutes. Then Aries and Rude get it with like a minute left to tie it up. And then with like 4 seconds left, we get a Root Bomb countered into a Sunset Flip. And Eddie Edwards gets the pin as Austin Aries just cannot believe it. And you got your new tag team champions for like, what, the 5th time or something? I don't know, it seems like a million times. But yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic. Being an Iron Man, they really never let up, and I like the fact that we didn't just have a tons of falls or whatever in this either. What do you think, Paul?
It was fine, I think. Yeah. Sorry, I'm really tired.
This was a long match, you know. And he's tired.
Like, you know, really, honestly, it didn't matter or anything. And I mean, it's the truth, though, Paul. I know you're tired. That's kind of the way I felt, too. It's like, yeah, okay, you know.
I mean, look, you know these guys are going to deliver on the wrestling side. It's 30 minutes of them wrestling. I mean, there's a lot to call there. And like I said, I thought they built up to the drama well. It's not.
Yeah, it's not awful. I'm sorry. I think it was a decent feud, or what do you want to call it, tournament. I was never really grabbed by this either. I mean, just be honest. I mean,
not to mention, it's like we know that TNA loves the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time they lose the titles, they get them back. So there's no drama in it.
Yep.
You know?
It's the truth.
And there's no real big tag team with them to feud. So, other than the one they just used now.
Yeah, exactly, because they killed the Bromans, so there's... Yeah, until Jeff Hardy comes back, there's nothing.
If there's a place for him to come back to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, knockout title match. Well, we didn't give them a lot of time. This was fine. It wasn't anything, you know... that Dollhouse got involved a few times here. Looked like Kong might win, but then Taryn hits her with a cutter out of nowhere, and she wins. She retains the title. After, I don't know if it was Marty or Jade knocked Brooke off the top rope, and then, yeah. So...
Nothing overly exciting, really short, which I was kind of disappointed with. But I like the Gail Kim stuff afterwards, so there's hope.
You can never go wrong with Gail Kim, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so... yeah, decent. Nothing bad here. But in the end, it was just, you know, something we've seen.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, like you guys said, good to know Gail Kim is back again. Jeff Jarrett's interview. Basically, the important part you need to know is that Jarrett admits that there's going to be some future between Global Force and TNA. And part 2, I guess, is going to be more interesting. So, yeah. World title match between Kurt Angle and Ethan Carter III. We get dual chance. I thought this was pretty good for the fact that, you know, EC3 is not a light your world on fire wrestler. Angle really carried a lot of this, lots of German suplexes, the belly to belly on the floor, ankle locks, Tyrus getting involved, the ref bumps. Kurt Angle kicks out of the 1%er for the first time. Good stuff. And frickin' EC3 wins with a roll-up. So, or stacked up roll-up, whatever. So, EC3, your new TNA champion because they're not world champion. So whatever, TNA champion.
Very, very excited that EC3 is a champion. Not so excited about how they went about doing this, though. It's the same problem that TNA has seemingly had for years, in that they can't let a heel ever look strong in a victory. Look, you want to have Tyrus interfere, that's fine. You can do that in the middle of the match. You want to have EC3 get some close pinfalls here and there, that's fine. You want to have him make it look like he's getting his ass handed to him and almost lose, that's fine. But so long as he comes out of this hitting that 1%er, even if you want Angle to kick out the first one, that's fine. That second 1%er, Carter pins him 1, 2, 3, legit, you would have made this guy. The way they went about this didn't really felt like he was the guy.
Yeah, it makes it look like a fluke win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, do they feel pressure to do that? They wanted to show Destination America. Oh, the Livid Champion didn't win clean. It was a fluke and all that. I don't know what it was for. I think it was disappointing, though. This is this guy's very first huge win, and at this point, it's a huge win, but it's not by clean measures. It's by roll up, and I want better for this guy, and I just think it was kind of a letdown in that sense. But besides all that, I can get over that, and I'm totally excited about him being champion.
Yeah.
There you go. So, well, guys, that is TNA Impact. Of course, next week we'll have more for you, but now it is time for us to move on, and when we come back, we are going to crown a Superstar of the Week. Do that next.
Superstar of the Week.
All right, Paul, you're up.
Number 5, I gave to Cesaro. Number 4, I gave to John Cena. They're really tied or interchangeable. Terrific match on Raw. 3 and 2, Wolves are at 2 for winning the match. 3 goes to Dirty Wolves. I might have been tired when we were talking about it, but the match is actually pretty good. I enjoyed the Best of 5 series. It was good wrestling for the most part. At number 1, I gave to EC3, new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Despite the match maybe not being the way I wanted it to go, EC3 certainly is the man in TNA and in the spot we all wanted him to be in. So, kudos to that.
Not a great week wrestling-wise, but I got the same list as Paul.
Yeah, we pretty much all had the same list. It's hilarious. Just all a little bit mixed up here. So I think overall, we don't need to go through it. What we just need to say is EC3 is our Superstar of the Week. Congratulations to him. Hopefully bigger and better things, though. Especially since Pro Wrestling Illustrated doesn't really support him at the moment. So hopefully everyone else does, though. I love the kid. EC3 is awesome. But guess what, guys? This pretty much wraps up our show.
Well, we gotta do our...
Oh, that's right. We got a new segment, and I don't know if we really announced this, Sean, did we?
No,
Earlier?
we didn't. But
we should have done
it every month now.
Yes. Okay.
At the end of the month.
Yeah, so, technically it is the beginning of July, but for all of June, we have completed our match of the month, and of course, our Superstar of the month. So, let's go ahead and give everybody our match of the month.
Well, it's the New Japan Best of Super Juniors final between Kyle O'Reilly and Kushida. We thought it beat out the Money in the Bank ladder match, the Kevin Owens and John Cena match from Money in the Bank, Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe, a few others there as well. Just talk about technical wrestling, just to put on a clinic there.
Yeah, exactly. And Paul, we kind of talked about this off air because we kind of wanted to come up with something and not be trying to think about this. But you made the point about just pure
wrestling.
Is that pretty much the reason you think that you kind of chose this match?
Yeah, I might have. I think I got the most enjoyment out of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. But if we're talking about just from a pure wrestling standpoint, there's not a match on this list right now from June that could touch Kushida and Kyle O'Reilly's effort at the finale. Just a wonderfully worked 30-minute-ish matchup that you should all really track down and watch.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. So, all right, now we are going to name our Wrestler of the Month. And Sean, give it to us.
Kevin Owens. I mean, can you really say that? I mean, other than Kushida himself, and for all the stuff he did at the beginning of the month, and then Seth Rollins has been consistent. There's been a couple of other guys, but really it's been Kevin Owens being the standout all month. That's the guy that you watch Raw for. Mm-hmm. And when you come to, I mean, you can throw John Cena in there too. I mean, maybe you don't watch him for his stick on Monday nights, but the feud with Owens and his matches with Owens and all that stuff have been great. So.
Yeah. And, he's not only doing work with, the main roster of WWE, he's also working with NXT as well. So, and he's kicking butt in both places, and you got to be just really awed about that because, he's taking double duty here and doing a great job at it. So, we all definitely think he deserves that Wrestler of the Month. So there you go, guys. Like Sean said, we'll be doing this every month at the end of the month, kind of giving you our thoughts. We're going to try to keep track of this because when we do our Superstar of the Year and, of course, Match of the Year and all these different things, we're going to kind of use these to tally up and kind of, give us an average here and see what we think about the end of the year or so. Well, guys, it is time for us to get on out of here. But before we do, we got to do a few plugs. Don't forget, next week you've got to join us. We are going to be talking all about the best in the East. Of course, we're going to talk Dominion on Sunday. That is going to be a blast. We'll be talking
about Beast in the East on Sunday too.
Yes, both those shows on Sunday, or both shows on Sunday. And then, of course, next week when you come join us on Thursday, Friday for all you fans who listen on demand. It is going to be all about, what happened this past week in wrestling and, of course, some other big news topics. So you don't want to miss that. But, Sean, give us some more plugs.
Well, we don't have any other – well, I don't have any other podcasts this week because other than I did a post-game for the U.S. women's victory against Germany in the semi-final of the Women's World Cup. Now we are in the final of the World Cup, which is also on Sunday. I need to check about what time that game is, actually. Because that depends on when we actually start the live thing for the Sunday night podcast. This is really bad. I shouldn't be doing this right now. But yeah, so that may not even be on the Football to Football, actually. That might be on Last Word SC, so you may not even see it posted here on the Spreaker page, or you may not get an actual... Apparently it's at 7 p.m. So, yeah, it's probably going to interfere a little bit into what time we can do the show, but it should be too late, because that means it'll end at 9, and we'll be done by 10. But... anyway, yeah, so I'll be on doing a post game of the World Cup final. Hopefully that means the U.S. winning and getting revenge on Japan. Just triple shot of Japan here. Now it's the U.S. playing Japan in the Women's World Cup final. You got 2 Japan shows on the weekend. So, but yeah, I think that's as far as for us doing podcasts. That's it. Shout out to Harry and Tony for the Raw reaction, and shout out to Steven Randall for the TWE After Dark. Yeah, just make sure, again, check us out on Sunday night for the New Japan Dominion and the Beast in the East reviews. If there's something crazy that's happened in the news, by then we'll probably do it as a special topic. And we're also doing our top 5 New Japan wrestlers as well. So, yeah.
A lot of great stuff. And make sure you tune in. Make sure, don't forget, please, if you get a chance, please rate and review. And also, guys, I just want to let you guys also know we'll be doing some new things on this show, as in design-wise on our logo and things like that. And the people helping us are really awesome people, and they also have a game out. We want you to go support it. So go check out a game called Math Tumbler. And you'll probably search that on your Google Play Store find that. You may have to go down. Make sure you push that more button until you do find it. Click it and play it. It is a blast. It's a really good game. Go check it out. I encourage everyone to download it. You won't be sorry. Even if you're not a math fan, it'll be a blast, and you probably get addicted. So we hope you get a chance to check that game out. But besides that, guys, we appreciate you. We all hope you have a happy 4th of July. Celebrate safe and have a great time. Enjoy your family and friends. But always remember, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.